So it's a huge facility, got a great road course. We're getting new paving. We got indoor garages, multiple layouts. We get so much seat time for our drivers. It's like going to 2 or 3 other events. People hardly ever go home with tires.
If you don't understand what drifting is, and then you see one of those videos of like a takeover or something, and it's like, hey, we're out here drifting and sliding and stuff like that. It's hard to justify, hey man, this is drifting, but it's like, that's not drifting.
Sliding. It just seems like they're spinning out.
I had used his car and made a bunch of runs, and so I made like 10 runs in a row. He goes up and makes one run, the last one of the day, and he's about to sell the car, and both the lug nuts shear off, but then the wheel goes under the floor.
Kicked it up
and kicked this thing 4 feet off the ground, and
Welcome back to the #1 Drift Podcast on YouTube, presented by Injuku Racing. My name is Dawson, and today we have
Marshall
and Zach from MB Drift.
Hell yeah. Appreciate you coming out. Before we get into the podcast, look below the video, make sure that subscribe button is not still red, and if it is, go ahead and click it and hit the bell notification while you're at it so you never miss an episode. And of course, don't forget, until the end of March, we are doing the BUMZ giveaway. So actually in the comment section, just literally anyone that comments, doesn't matter what it is, you'll be entered each week into that giveaway for a choice of whatever pair you want. And any parts that we talk about in this podcast as well, you can normally find them on Injuku. So all of those links and everything that you'll need are always in the description. That's all I got. So if you guys want to kind of give an introduction on who you are, what MB Drift is, stuff like that.
Yeah. What's up? My name's Zach. A lot of y'all know me. You see me running around on the course and all that stuff. Just kind of helping my man Marshall out here. You know, I came a part of MB Drifts quite many years ago. Always been a part of it, but never really, got involved. And then kind of found my place, just picking up cones and helping out a little bit. Just, we all knew each other, so it was kind of just helping out my buddy, and then kind of got involved with it and been around ever since, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so MB Drift kind of started back in 2005 after I'd done several years.
It was that long ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
I bought my 240 that I still own today in 2000. Okay. And then I started drifting in 2001. And all of 02, 03, and 04, I was drifting in Atlanta. I would do 9 events traveling from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina to Atlanta. Driving my daily driver, drift all day and drive it home, 6 hours.
God. That's actually, that's what MB stands for, right? It's just Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, that originally, that's what it was about. But now we're not, we're still based out of Myrtle Beach, but we're not actually operating out of Myrtle Beach. So we just kind of shortened it to MB because that's been the long-standing.
Yeah, I always joke around. It's like Marshall and his boys. It's like, because
that's awesome.
It stands for that. Sometimes it does cause some confusion. Excuse me, where people would think we're still in Myrtle Beach, but sure, we'll get into that in a little bit, but it's just shortening it up and stuff like that. It was awesome to be like, hey man, bring your chick and the kids down. You can go to the racetrack, they can go to the beach, and then everything's cool, and you get kind of like a day with your homies. So that was always awesome. Good selling point,
Yeah, get people out there. Did you have anything else to add? I kind of did cut you off.
Yeah, that's okay. So MB Drift started in 2005 after I had been doing some traveling, and we got the opportunity at the local speedway to be able to start hosting events. Started out just Wednesday nights for like $20. You could come out and drift for 3 hours.
Yeah,
Wednesday.
and that's what it was too. It would be like, they come out and it's like, hey, as long as you got $100, you're good. Yeah. So there'd be like one car out there, and he's like, hey man, call his buddy, hey, I'll throw in $50 with you, man. So it's, you might have 2 cars out there, maybe 4 people, and you have the whole track to yourself. And that's where a lot of people that've been around long, that's kind of where they honed their skills, was just having the track all to themselves.
Yeah.
So
didn't have that pressure of everyone watching and stuff.
Yeah. And
that's
$20
what a lot of newbies deal with.
Yeah. $20.
Very affordable to get involved. Yeah. Yeah. So the local speedway general manager approached us because he knew that we were traveling to events, me and another buddy that were on essentially our drift team together, that we just did a bunch of events together back then. And he approached us and said, hey, I want to get the kids off the street. I want to give them a place to raise hell with their cars and have a good time and not get in trouble with the law and do it in a safe environment. And so ever since then, that's kind of been our motto. Keep it off the streets.
And that was kind of like the
Good.
Fast and Furious era when it first came out, and everybody, everybody had their cars and everybody's out there street racing.
Everyone was
That's where I
influenced
came
by it,
from, street racing world. So
back then we even did like stoplight drag racing on the front straight too, for those that wanted to do it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we just went out and had a good time, and it's just kind of morphed and developed over the years.
Gotcha.
We spent 16 years at the Myrtle Beach Speedway before it closed down.
Damn.
And then we needed to find a new home and got relocated to Rockingham.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
And that in itself was kind of like a process too, because it's like, you have your whole season planned for 2020, then it's like you find out the track's closing.
Everything down the drain.
It's like, man, so you kind of wrap it up, and then it was there's a lot of tracks local, but trying to keep it local to where now it's like 2.5 hours to travel from our house to go to the track. So it was cool when it was like, hey man, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to run home real quick and grab something out the garage or whatever, but being able to go there the day before, get off work, set up everything, but it's just part of it. You try to like really find something that's close in the area, but a lot of people, like, sure, you hear a lot of people talk about it, that some tracks are a little bit resistant to hearing the idea of drifting. It's like NASCAR or no car, it's we don't know what that is.
There's a track very local to here. It's probably like 10, 15 minutes away, and like I think they only host like Miata road course track days, and that's about it. It's like a pretty small like go-kart style track, but they like if you walk in there and even mention the word of drifting, he's ready to kick you out.
Yeah, and a lot of it,
crazy.
A lot of it comes for like just my experiences talking with tracks and stuff like that. They kind of hold the SCCA to a higher standard. It's like they're real disciplined and stuff like that. Whereas the drifters, oh, you guys are the wild childs. You're out there tearing stuff up. But you got to understand the sport to know. It's like, hey, ride in a car, see what it's about, and then 9 times out of 10, you see it's
a lot
it's
of
not
it.
all...
I think the takeover crowd puts a bad taste in their mouth.
Yeah,
they don't understand what drifting
yeah,
is.
especially nowadays. If you don't understand what drifting is, and then you see one of those videos of like a takeover or something, and it's like, hey,
Separate.
We're out here drifting and sliding and stuff like that. It's the form of driving. Yeah, you're out there, you're still sliding it sideways, but it's not a controlled environment. It's hard to justify. Hey man, this is drifting, but it's like that's not drifting.
Sliding. It just seems like they're spinning out.
Yeah.
So in my experience, autocrossing, they don't understand drifting, and that's why they really don't like it. So anybody who, in my opinion, is focused on autocross is totally against drifting. And so if they're supporting that, they're unlikely to support drifting.
Oh yeah, it's like just two different people.
When I did autocrossing and I like had let the car rotate around in 1 or 2 corners, I wasn't knocking over cones, and I was improving my lap times, and they still said, "No, you can't do that.
You're out of here, man.
Yep.
One more time, and you're done for the day." I'm like, wow.
Well, piss on you then.
Yeah. And like,
I'll go somewhere else.
Super off topic though, if you do get in the autocross, try some drifting, because it's going to teach you some techniques. Like, we've had some people do the transition, and anytime it got loose, it's like everything in your mind is to keep that car gripped up. Yeah. So once it gets loose, you're like, oh man, but really you could take some of that. It's just like with any form of driving, you can adapt it all in the one, and it just really makes you more well-rounded,
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah. All right. You didn't have anything else? I know we kind of branched off.
Yeah,
there,
we did. We ramble a lot and get off
Oh
topic.
no,
I ain't gonna lie on
the
that.
beauty of it. But yeah, you didn't have anything else?
I think that's good enough for now.
Well, okay. So individually, what is y'all's like? I guess job title for MB Drift? What do you do specifically, for the most part?
Yeah, I'd be more like an oversight general manager, maybe-ish kind of thing.
Yeah, I would say like general manager, CEO type deal,
Yeah. Because when it comes down to it, everything that's not done kind of by my staff or my everybody that helps us out is kind of, it all falls on me.
Yeah. So for the viewer, you are the one that started MB Drift originally from day one.
Me and one other person, and it was that guy that I traveled to Atlanta with to do all our early. We both started it, and then he kind of fell off after probably 5 or
Yeah, I think
6 years.
more or less, career change and stuff like that. Kind of, Jeff Kipe was the man.
Yeah.
He was the man. We all looked up
Just
to him
getting
and
out of
everything like
drifting,
that.
basically?
I kind of got into just career change, and then that was taking a lot of time, so kind of put it on the back burner, and then Marshall kind of stepped up, and then it's kind of where we all fell into place. Marshall's
Nice.
more or less like track liaison, always like getting ambulance, fire truck, talking to the track, getting the vendors out there.
Everything.
More of like, I say, like really coordinating everything. And then myself, I mostly, just help out with whatever he needs. But I'd say like my job title is more of like, I say like track management and stuff like that. So I'm the guy. It's like,
so you're running grid and stuff, right?
well,
He's
in a sense, we got
Overseeing,
some awesome volunteers, and like they love running
sick.
grid. So in the first couple of years, like especially when we went to Rockingham, I was really killing myself trying to keep the track good, man. I got my little four wheeler. It's like a little kid's four wheeler. I put a go-kart motor on and stuff. So
that's awesome.
Like people see me crash it and run over myself with it, but it's like it's all fun. Like for me, that's.
And we have mad media, so they always catch all that stuff too.
Nice.
So so I kind of facilitate, just like track logistics, getting the volunteers in place, making sure the media is good.
And he was killing himself doing too much, and I was like, dude, you got to take a step back a little bit.
It's just natural.
Get your people doing these jobs, and you need to manage them, and then you have better oversight, and you're not as overwhelmed.
Yeah. That's a big issue I had starting my business, was like just letting other people do some of the work.
And sometimes it just comes in the trust. You want to be a perfectionist, and you want to make sure that everything's running smoothly as you can. So you're like, but we got some good people, so it's easy to entrust them to be like, hey man, what's good, what's not good. We kind of talk and be like, hey man, or they'll come up with ideas or whatever, and it's kind of we all work it out. Sometimes it's extremely hard to get volunteers, though. I will say that. It's just,
how many volunteers do you normally get per event?
I try to get around like 10, but usually it ends up, man, sometimes you'll end up with like 3, sometimes you'll end up with 5, sometimes you'll end up with 15, because ideally what I'd like to do is like set it up in shifts, so you have like somebody work half the day, and then kind of like take a break for the second half, and then you can go ride along, or
you can go have fun, enjoy the event.
So you're not stuck working all day. That's part of the perk, or like drivers want to volunteer. It's like, hey, if you want to volunteer Saturday for the comp, and then Sunday you can drive for free. Yeah. So there are some perks, so if anybody's, and that's like especially perfect for excuse me. It's especially perfect for like somebody say, hey man, my car's down. All right, cool. So I come out, volunteer a couple times. So I do like, you volunteer 3 weekends, you get a free event day.
Credit.
So you're earning a credit.
That's
so it's
cool.
like, hey, my car's down, I can come out and help. And then we all know when you first get your car back and it's shakedown day, man, anything can happen, So to me, it makes it's a little.
That's a good way to give back.
Yeah, it's a little easy on your mind too, because it's like, hey man, I don't have nothing in this.
It helps us and it helps them.
Yeah, so you can come out, shake down your car. If something happens, hey, you ain't got nothing in it. If you have a blast, you ain't got nothing in it. So it just makes it that much better. You know what I'm saying?
You won, buddy. Either way.
Yeah, you're winning. So that's kind of like a perk or something, and that's something we had to kind of design just because it was hard to get people. So
how did y'all think of that? Like, what
kind of
sparked the idea?
I guess really kind of like how I used to do it. I would always drive free for helping out with events. So it's kind of,
so you just
and then you got to understand like too, I mean, it is a business. So it's like you can't say, oh, well, I'm going to let 10 drivers in for free. I try to keep it to like 2 or 3 on the driver's side. So that way it's not, you're not losing too much money.
And if we have spectators that volunteer, we might have them bring a friend for free or something like that.
Cool.
Usually you get like a 4-pack. So it's like, hey, man, you and your buddy are coming. Hey, bring your family. We'll let them in for free. And then we have camping at the track. So we let that go. Hey, you get camping and stuff like that. There's RV hookups. You got an RV. Come drop it by.
No shit. That's cool. So you don't find that very often at tracks.
So over the years, MB Drift has really evolved a lot. I've been in it the whole time, but I've also, had stepped back at certain times,
Yeah.
and I was always there and helping out, but other people might have been taking larger roles, and so the guy that I originally started with me, he was more of the leader back then, and then once he fell out, then I kind of took over, and then we had another guy that was really big and really kind of taking the leadership role. And I was more of the track guy. And back then we were working in a parking lot at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. So we had to design a track for every event. So I was the track
would
designer.
y'all switch it up every event?
Yes.
Like completely different
we
design
would do
every event?
repeats year to year sometimes that were favorites, but generally we would do 10 or 12 events a year and we would do a different track every single time.
Sick. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was like
you kind of have to with a parking lot.
Yeah, with a parking lot, it'll get stale
no
real
reason
quick.
not to.
But I'll say that, like, just kind of a little bit off topic, but parking lot versus road course is completely different because parking lot driving, you have that little bit of washout room. On a track, you're dirt dropping, and it's like, man, all right, I'm really feeling this.
You feel more obligated to keep it on the pavement, on the road
and
course.
To me, it just helps you be better, because that's what it's all about, progression. The whole point of drifting is placing your car where you want it at. So, you get into that. But
we want to bring more people into drifting, and the people that we get into drifting or that are already into it, we want to help progress their skills to the next level. Yeah. And there's a million levels, so you can always get better.
God knows that's true.
Plus, it's just fun to run doors with homies too.
Yeah. On the volunteer thing though, how do y'all actually find volunteers? Is it just a known thing now, so people automatically?
Well, sometimes we'll have individuals that reach out, or we have like this one young cat, Dustin. He's young dude, he loves drifting and stuff, just kind of like finding his way in the cars, learning to be more mechanical and stuff like that. He does a lot of sim racing and stuff like that, so it's kind of cool. Be like, hey man, you can, it's extremely easy to translate, going off a sim to going in real life. I mean, obviously there's different attributes to it, like you'll feel like G-force and smells and tastes you don't sitting in a room, but
the wind and all that stuff.
But as far as that, like the muscle memory and just, I feel it mostly comes down to just like anything else in life. It's like, if you understand it and understand how and why it works and why the car does what it does and being able to feel what it is, it's easy to translate.
But it doesn't translate back the other way, I don't think, because I tried doing some sim racing and I was terrible at it.
No, I've always said that. Like, if you start in a car and then go to a sim, it's very weird. I can't grasp it quite that well. But if you start in a sim and then go straight to a car, like it's wild.
That transition's probably a lot easier.
All of the second nature stuff that comes with drifting. You just have to time it right.
Yeah, I always show a video of like this one dude they took and they put him in I think it was like Peter Wiacek's car. Put him in there and the dude was Visick. I don't know why I'm so bad. Like name. Our buddy Darren, I always messed up his name all the time. But no, back to the volunteers thing. Yeah, it's like sometimes we have like repeat people come. Like I can always count on Dustin. He's always going to be there. And if he's not, he's like, "Hey man, I'm real sorry." He feels real bad about it. And I'm like, "Hey man, no obligations. If you make it, you make it. If you don't, you don't." It's not like I'm like,
appreciate it either way.
I'm gonna pull off my belt and give you a whipping for not showing up to class today. Yeah, it's like, no man. But
do this again, you're fired.
Other than that, it's just like putting up a post and just feeling it out. Hey man, if you're interested, it's nothing that I'll ever try to be like, oh, you got to do this or whatever.
Yeah.
It's recommended, and especially for people that I try to tell people too, if you're looking to get into drifting or just to have a better understanding, or if you just want the best seat in the house. Yeah, it's like
it's a different perspective being on grid.
Oh yeah,
because there's a lot of media people out there stuff too. So the volunteers that help media kind of like spotting and then just running cones or out there on the road course, we a little bit of dirt drops, go out there and clean the track off and stuff like that. But really it's the best seat in the house, man. You can't beat it. It's like you can feel the wind off the car. That's what it's all about, just being in the zone, and that was
feel the heat from the track.
Yeah,
dude, in Jersey that shit gets hot. But okay, so have y'all actually ever like hired someone on from being a volunteer like that?
We're all still volunteers too.
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Yeah, we don't. I guess that's one bad thing for anybody out there.
I was gonna work into that part too, just because like, dude, most people doing events, I feel like they're not really making
Yeah.
anything
Well,
from
this is
that.
more like a drifting co-op. We all just volunteer our time just to make
Yeah.
it good for everybody. We like to get out and drive ourselves when we can, and then we want to have everybody else give them an opportunity at a pretty awesome facility too to get out and have a good time.
Yeah.
Because the infield road course, it's a 1 mile oval, but there's an infield road course, and there's a lot of different cut throughs and things like
Okay.
that. So we run different layouts even on this one particular road course.
That's nice. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll change the track 3 or 4 times a day sometimes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's just, it's
Keeps it fresh.
yeah, it's very limited on what you can do with it because it is a road course and there's only so many variations you can do, but
Yeah.
that's just where we get creative with things, or we'll be like, hey, today we're going to try something out, and then we'll get drivers' input and be like, yeah, that's cool, or hey, that sucks, and it's this is kind of what you got to do being, doing what we do. Again, we're volunteering, we're not making money at it, so it's kind of, we try to make it as fun as we can and kind of like real relaxed, but at the same time, you got to have your line of fun versus professionalism,
And,
I get that,
obviously,
yeah.
all while being safe and all too.
Yeah, because a lot of people would think like, oh man, they'll see,
Damn
oh man,
insurance.
you're getting all the, being an event organizer. Oh yeah, you're making some money, you're getting benefits and stuff like that. Yeah, some people that higher populous areas, or maybe where we're kind of saturated down where we're at in the Carolinas. There's love it, man.
A lot of drivers.
Yeah, there's a lot of drivers. There's a lot of places to drive, and it's like I tell everybody, man, go drive everywhere you can. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have more experience under your belt. You'll learn something, just like kind of talking about like translating stuff, or like with autocross. It's like, if you learn this technique at this track, you can utilize it. Oh, I'm going here. I never driven a track like that. Oh, I remember this, what I did.
Yeah. This
3
turns a
months
little
ago.
similar
Yeah.
to this. Yeah.
And sometimes we even have people complain, oh, well, this is too hard. Well, imagine if you get this down now, then you'll be able to, if you experience that in another situation where you can't just change the layout, then you'll already be prepared for it.
So yeah, and I'll translate that, to what we do. Most of our layouts on the infield, tight and technical. Some people don't like tight and technical stuff. Some people do. But, when you're learning those left foot braking techniques and you're going around corners, and I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit narrow there.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but it's a little bit narrow. So coming around and really having to utilize that left foot braking and that weight transfer of your car, and knowing, okay, it's super tight through here, but I'm in a battle, so I got to be close to a door, or I got to, make sure my tandem's good. Those are the skills that you can utilize somewhere else. And it's like, oh, all right, I already know I'm not uncomfortable with that because I've already been through the hardest part.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Do you have like a layout that the drivers like the best? Have they shared that?
I would say
all?
probably the shoot. A lot of people like to run it. Basically, we named that after one that we had at the Myrtle Beach Speedway days, because it's like you're coming out the gate. So you're coming straight into the track, and then it was like a hard right and a hard left.
Okay.
So that's what we got now. And coming through there, and it's like, you come out a straight, kick second gear, kick it to the right, and then as soon as you get in power and transition, you got to shut it down again. Good left foot brake on power to kind of go through this little power alley, and then just kind of zigzag loop back around.
And
other
then,
than that,
there's people are not everyone is super passionate about it, but there are like a percentage of our drivers that are super passionate about the bonus track out back, which is a half mile, quarter mile oval with like 8 to 10 degrees of banking. And there's nothing to hit. There's no barriers or anything anywhere.
And that's fourth, you could do fourth gear entries coming in high 70s, low 80s, just, throw it.
How is there no barrier?
Well, there's barriers like around, but as far as like I guess the apron on the banks, they're so wide and so far up. Like even if you entry and bobble your entry and spin out, even if you go back, just the momentum of the car with the grade will slow you down.
It wasn't a full race track regularly. It was more of a practice track. It's modeled after what Martinsville.
I think they said Martinsville, yeah.
So there's certain parts of concrete on sections of the track, but the track on the big end where you're doing the most amount of speed has 3 racetracks wide worth of height going all the way up this thing. So even if you spin out, there's no getting to the top of this hill because it's so. And then in the infield, there's no walls or anything.
That's crazy.
It's just grass.
Well, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So it's just a grassy knoll. And then the only thing is the flagging tower. That's the
Okay.
and there's a few K-rails to protect some lights, but those are the only things that you can.
Yeah, so you got plenty of
Wow.
wash off room.
Do y'all ever put like
so-
K-rails on the bank to where there is some type of something to get close to?
Not there.
No.
Well, yeah, I mean, up on the bank, yeah, they do have some K-rails. Thank God, because boy, if you go off that, it's like Dukes of Hazzard, just
Okay, so
just
that-
straight off.
that's
Yeah,
what I was wondering. I was like, there's gotta be
Yeah,
something
yeah,
there.
they do have some up there, but as far as it goes, they're just in place. We
But
don't
even-
ever really have to
Yeah,
mess with
it's just too far. Like if you spun out, you're not gonna make it that far.
Yeah, if you really saw the size of it, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, you're good." Because I
Yeah.
remember there was, I think it was like a white, it was a white 350Z came in and just looped it, and it was like we were all like, "Oh man, he's gonna hit the wall," and it was like it just slid right up, and I think that all it did was just dent the exhaust a little bit. I was like, "All right, cool," and that dude was
Yeah,
hauling
lucked out.
ass.
Yeah, there's
hauling
just
ass.
so much runoff everywhere that they don't really need barriers.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
there are just like any other track. There's some spots you got to watch out for.
Of course.
But for the most part, it's fairly open. And then just going back to the other favorite, you know, a lot of people like we try to do this one. It's called Flat Togue. It's one that I
Okay.
came up with, and it's more or less just trying to utilize the entire infield. So it's a good, you know, typically when you go out and do a run, you're maybe 20, 30 second runs or whatever.
Maybe
you know,
40 or something.
maybe
yeah.
40 seconds. But this one we tried to utilize all that. So I think it's probably a good 45 seconds to a minute just to get
Damn.
through all this stuff. And I mean, I think it was like a 14 or 16 car tandem one time on that.
Oh,
it was
hell
insane.
no.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, it's crazy.
Did anyone spin?
I think, yeah, I would say,
Definitely a few straightens.
I know there was a
but-
few straightens, and I think somebody did
Straightens
spin
not
because I
bad,
remember
yeah.
it was like, I remember one time it was like, they were like, dude, there was so much smoke. Just the person in the back was like,
Ooh,
I couldn't
sketchy.
see anything. It's like, I'm just praying. And I was
Butt
like,
puckered
dude,
the whole time.
yeah. It's like, man,
Man.
just don't wad your car up. That's one thing we tell everybody.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, be safe, man. If you got to bail, do it. I don't think a lot of people know like when's the right time to bail. Sometimes it's like you're just stuck in the moment. But it's like, hey, if you got to bail, it's all good. I'd rather
Yeah.
you bail than get wadded up.
That is very true.
Keep the
That's
car
why I
running
always
for
tell
next time.
people, if you feel like you're about to spin all the way out. Floor it and get out of the way.
Yep. Just
So-
let it ride.
And the other note about Little Rock, going back to that, is that a lot of people underestimate it, how fun it is, because they look at the aerial on the satellite view, and compared to the bigger track, it looks really small, but it's really not.
Huh.
It's a really fast, fun, banked oval that you can do 80-mile-an-hour entries on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, you pretty much just haul ass up to it, throw in a little manji, go around the big bank, and then on the back side, it's kind of like a little switchback.
Mhm.
And if you set it up perfect, man, it'll kick you right back into the other side of the bank. Well, it's not really a banked. It's kind of like a cut through road. Still
Yeah,
got a little bit of banking on it. But man, if you set it up perfect for that, you just come in there, and as soon as you settle it, bop.
Butter.
Yeah, you got to throw it in a little harder than you think normally too. So a lot of people mess up the first turn, but if you go hard into it, because once you hit the bank, it really grips up.
Yeah.
And
It's fun.
and I guess that goes into really like what's your driving style. If you like the tight
Well,
technical
yeah, of
stuff,
course.
and that's what's cool about the Matsuri days.
got 'em both.
It's like, yeah, you got them both. Hey, I'm tired of driving this. Let me cruise over to the other track.
Yeah.
Let me cruise back over here, and it runs all day. So it's like, hey, man, I'm gonna take a nap. I ain't missing
Hell
nothing.
yeah.
And we run all these different types of layouts, tight and then some fast. And then if you want to sit out this session and wait for the other stuff, you're more than welcome to do that. And we try not to do too long a stints. We've got the one full road course we call our
Oh, like the high slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, the full course coming off the bank.
Like
That's
it's
awesome.
again, you can do probably 70 miles an hour entry, and then you got this manji down the back straight thing, and you're doing like got to be 80 washing into this last turn kind of thing. So, but the problem with that, the high speed stuff's really fun. Not everybody loves it, but most do. But it eats up your tires quicker,
Yeah.
So when you do the tighter technical stuff, you don't have as much tire wear.
Yep. And that's just one of those things.
That's
We'll
more
get in the
enjoyable
tire.
to me.
Yeah, get in the tire wear. It's hard to, like some tracks have good tire wear. I would say Rockingham's not the best, but you gotta think, man, how old is that pavement? I mean, shoot, before we got there, we went there in 2020, before we went there, I think it sat dormant for like 6 or 7 years since like I think it was like it was
Maybe
6 years
even
from 2014. I think it
completely
was
dormant, like trees growing up through the buildings and everything.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
they're-
I feel like we got off topic because we didn't finish like the story of going to Rockingham, but
You can finish it if you
yeah,
want.
all right,
you're
yeah,
good.
I'll get into that
Go
real
for
quick.
it.
All right, so long story short, man, just when the speedway closed, we're trying to find tracks to go to. We thought we had one. We went out and did some testing at another kind of like small circle track a little bit closer to us. Did it, and then
we're so close to working out the
and then I
deal.
guess the guy was like sitting in the stands one day, and he was like, "Yeah, I really don't like the way these black marks look
Oh, what?
So-
on my facility." Super cool dude, like awesome
Yeah.
dude and everything, but at that, it's like he's like, "This is my Disney World," He's like, "This is I got this for me to have fun with, and we can do some circle track racing." It's like you
Yeah.
can't knock that. I respect
Yeah.
that. It's so
It's his baby. I get it.
yeah, so we
That
thought we were so
sucks, but
close, and then we
yeah.
were like, "Dang, man, we were trying and trying and trying," and then we saw about Rockingham, and we were trying to but you couldn't get a hold of anybody. There was like, it's like, man, is this place closed, open?
It
Like,
had never
Does
had
anyone own it?
it had never been drifted at before.
yeah, nobody's ever
Held
done
a
any
drift event
events or
there.
anything
across
like that.
the street at the drag
Yeah, at
strip.
the
they had
Rockingham Dragway, which
Yeah.
is right across the street, world famous drag strip. I'm sure if anybody knows about drag racing, they know about Rockingham Dragway. And so yeah, they used to do drifting over there. It was another another organization that they, if anybody listening, they'll know who they are
Yeah.
and know the story
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the shit that came with all that mess that they left
Yeah,
for
we
everything.
gotta get into
Ruined a lot of things for people, but
Yeah.
yeah, other than that, I mean, it was just kind of, we went over there. It was like one of our buddies that we've known for a long time. He had all-wheel drive K Civic, so he's like, "Hey man, I'm going up to the drag strip." So we're like, "Yo, we're coming." A bunch of our buddies came and told Marshall about it, and we were like, "Yo man, maybe we should go over to the speedway." And he's like, "I already been over there, man." They drove me around, they took me everywhere, and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I stopped before
you're
I
the
came over
hookup.
here."
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he got in there, and then kind of just fell in love with it, and was like, "Man, it's really like you come through the tunnel and you're just like, holy shit, this place is huge."
We get to drive
massive.
here?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And yeah, and then it was kind of
Worked out anyways.
getting into the relationship with the track owners, stuff like that. The people that own the track, they're more of entertainment business. They own like bars and restaurants, so they don't really know
Oh.
too much about
Concerts and
do
stuff, too.
concerts, and that's what they originally got it for. They wanted to make it an entertainment
Gotcha.
complex, so they were going to have like festivals and all this and that there. And I think there was one car show before.
So they don't care what it looks like.
Yeah, it was kind of
As
like,
far as tire marks.
yeah, no, yeah, it's kind of like, hey man, we're gonna do whatever we can in the city. Rockingham's a pretty small place. It's not really like a high population, and that's what there is in Rockingham. It's like you got the drag strip and the racetrack. That's what it is, and then it's a big part of their economy. So just getting that going. A lot of people want to see NASCAR back there. The whole town is behind it, man. I mean, like the tourism people love us.
Technically, even the state is supporting that track too. They're trying to get it built back
Sweet.
up, so they gave them a pretty big grant to
No
to
way.
They're doing
repave
it
the
for
oval.
a lot of tracks in North Carolina that actually
Okay.
got a grant for and trying to revive some of these old speedways. So it's cool,
Dude,
and then
that's
being part
awesome
of it.
to see from
Yeah.
from
So
the
we don't
state.
really use the main oval that they repave now, but
Yeah, and that's something too. They repaved the whole oval, and trying to get their stuff going.
So cool.
I guess we might as well go ahead and say it. Yeah.
News.
So it's news.
Newsflash.
Da-da-da. Breaking.
So there was some talk about repaving the infield
Okay.
at the Rockingham
that
Speedway.
we actually do use for drifting.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, it was like kind of like we didn't know if it was going to come into fruition or whatnot. We're like, hey, we got these maps. If you guys want to spend some extra money, here's kind of
Well,
like a layout.
We've had tracks tell us things and not come through with it before
Yeah,
too.
of
So we
course.
didn't want to get our hopes too
Yeah,
high.
and that's another thing too. It's sometimes with some tracks, it's
Gotta be a
hard to
little
take
reserved.
people's word. Yeah, you can't really get excited because it's like, especially for us being in it so long, it's like you can't really. It's like been there, done that. So you have a little bit of reservations,
Mhm.
So it's
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
hard. But yeah, they're paving it. apparently they're adding some extra spots in there. So
Okay.
Yeah, because it was like the road course was like a roval setup. So you had to, if you were going to do the whole road course, you had to access the main oval. So now, according to what they say, they're putting in a return road where it'll be a self-sustaining road course on the inside.
Loop.
Yeah.
yeah,
Sick. So you can just do hot laps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
keep it
hard to
running all day.
it's hard to see. Like we're trying to get some more information out of them to be like, hey, did you is it wider? Did you add this or that or this or that?
Because we provided
pick.
we provided them paving maps of other options that we would like to see.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that they're going to take advantage of some of that stuff.
Yeah. And it's like some of that stuff. Our
Do
buddy,
they have social media that all the guys can just like go fucking tag and be like, do it.
Yeah. I mean, I wish they could.
Yeah,
we could have put a vote on it, but I think it's more or less kind of like at their own discretion.
Yeah.
But hopefully they take what we had suggested. We know it's
pressure
getting
won't help.
paved. We know it's getting the return, but it's like
Beyond that, we don't know any extra details right now. But to have
Either way,
a
that's
brand new
solid.
racing surface on all of the places that we're drifting,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
much.
So regardless, tire wear is going to be way better.
Hell
That's a
yeah.
lot of things that So
Was that really the only issue with the pavement on
that and just being a little bit narrow.
just
you
the
know,
narrowness? of it?
Yeah, just being
So
a
that
little
wasn't
bit
even
narrow.
like major potholes or anything like that.
Yeah,
that
I
was
mean,
causing any
eventually
issues.
over the course of the day, you get some. We've been out there. Shoot, I can't even tell you how many times we've been out there just doing cement work.
Yeah, we've done a lot of paving and asphalt and concrete additions to make turns wider where people kept going off the course.
Yeah.
So we would
like
try
adding a
to
rumble strip almost,
Yeah,
but not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
our main focus was we tried to put concrete on the inside of the turns and do asphalt on the outside of the turns when we're in the places that we needed to widen them. And we did a bunch of that, but now we're glad to hear that they're going to do it all.
and that too. And if I was a construction dude, I'd probably do that for work. You know what I'm saying? But so it's kind of like, we get some help out there and stuff, but it's late. We try to do our best with putting the concrete down, but a lot of times over time, it's going to bust back up. But what can you do? You just go out there and repair it.
Keep on chugging.
Thank God for the Harbor Freight cement mixer.
Oh yeah. Thank God for Harbor Freight in general.
Dude, I ain't even telling you.
Not sponsored, I swear.
Yeah. A lot of people don't, speaking of that, just off topic, man, a lot of people don't know, dude, lifetime warranty on stuff. I've literally destroyed
all their hand tools.
Yeah, destroyed
Every hand
tools. And I'm like, I always make the joke, I'm going to get the Harbor Freight tool truck.
Yeah.
Because I work at a dealership, so it's like, I work in parts at a dealership, so even when I was in the shop, I was buying tools, and I was always joking. I'm like, man, I'm gonna get the Harbor Freight tool truck. I'm gonna start that, and they're like, what? Why?
In the world?
And I'm like, dude, free warranty, cheap tools, man. I'm like, it's all good. I've literally taken a handful of stuff, and they're like, hey, go get all this stuff, and we'll replace it. All right, cool. Fine by
Hell
me.
yeah. All right. Okay. Well, let's jump into kind of your guys' individual cars, because I want to. Well, I'll get into that in a minute. Anyways, just give a rundown on your individual cars first.
All right, you want to go? All right, so my car, like I said, I bought back in 2000. I had
So you still have that same car?
same car,
Wow, that's crazy.
and it's been wrecked quite a few times, but I keep fitting it back together and straightening it back out. And so it's not a polished beauty queen car or anything, but it's definitely functional and fun. It's a 91 Nissan 240, and got into drifting, started doing upgrades and all that stuff. And so I eventually ended up going turbo. And turbo the KA. And back then, that was the trash motor. Everybody wanted SRs and stuff.
Yeah, back when people were giving them away.
Yeah, when you can get them everywhere.
So I went through a bunch of different levels of KA and boosted KA, had a fully built motor that put down 429 horsepower to the wheels at one point. But then I switched to put a LS motor in it, and that's probably been 8-9 years ago. And then I always knew I wanted to go boosted though eventually, because I was used to that boost from running the 4-cylinder. And so, I stuck with the iron block motor, so not technically an LS. It's a LM7 5.3 liter. But then originally I put an 87 millimeter turbo on it, and it it had a ton of power,
boy.
but yeah, a little bit of lag, not too bad. But you know, those LSs flow a lot of air, so it wasn't too bad. So once I replaced the turbo, I went down to like 72 millimeter, and so now it's like almost NA, just a barely a touch of lag at all before you kind of get into it. And you know, I've never dynoed it. I've always just street tuned it. So I'm guessing it's somewhere around 600 or maybe a little more horsepower, 12 pounds of boost on a 72 millimeter turbo. And it's got a big cam in it and stuff, and a few motor upgrades, and I rebuild the motors myself when I need to and stuff like that. I just did an engine refresh, not this off season, but last off season. It's got a full 6-point roll cage with you know, intrusion bars in the front. You know,
Did you make that one yourself?
Yeah.
Or, oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I borrowed a bender and then kind of did all the work myself.
Damn.
And so I bought a MIG welder, and so I make all my own.
Juku has cages, just so you know.
Yeah, there you go.
You ain't got to do all that.
Yeah, because that's a lot of work and measuring and all that stuff. It's nice if somebody's already figured all that out. But yeah, so I've always not had a lot of funds to, you know, pay someone else to build my car. So I always just, you know, figure it out.
Self-sustained.
Yeah, so I became a welder, you know, pretty good. You know, it's definitely functional, and I've gone through now a couple of levels of the local tech college welding class to improve my welds, and now I'm doing TIG welding and doing aluminum and all that kind of stuff. But I got
skills to have, man.
Yeah, so I got fire suppression in my car and carbon fiber hood and hatch, and got a rear mounted radiator set up.
Okay.
So obviously this is a 22-year build, so it's just kind of been building all snowballing all
getting more
over
and more.
the years.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
What coilovers are you running on that?
BCs.
Love that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had some old Race Logics that I just changed.
Race Logic.
They don't even make coilovers
say,
anymore. They make those drift boxes now.
Oh.
Really?
Huh.
So if you look up Race Logic now, that's what's on their website. But back in 2004, they were making coilovers.
That's crazy.
And yeah, so I even broke one time, and I welded it back together and kept on using it. But obviously they were so...
With the VCs now, we're good.
Yeah, don't need that now. But now I've got a nice new set of VCs and hooked up on that. I was running a T56 for a long time. I had a Camaro one, and then I switched to a GTO. And then, you know, synchros just for drifting, like the T56 to me, the synchros will just wear out. So, you know, it still was shift, but not like a power shift.
Yeah.
So not too long ago, last season when I got the BCs, I also switched to a 4-speed dog box.
Gotcha.
Not the baller setup with the internal shifting, but with the side shifting arms.
Yeah.
You know,
hey, it still works.
I just got the idea that I wanted to switch to dog box, and then found a deal like a week later, and I'm like, geez, I guess I'm going forward with this.
God, it's nice when that shit works out.
Yeah, but luckily a T56 is worth a lot, so I could sell that and make the money to cover the expense of it and all. So, other than that, you know, we had a powder coater that sponsored us for 1 year, and so we both got nice powder coated rims by our buddy Corey.
Yeah, nice two-tone. So we got like the lip.
Powder by C. Ray in Myrtle Beach.
Yep. Dude's always busy, man. He does good work, stuff like that. And I love the wheels.
And he was my son's roller hockey coach too.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's like my girlfriend plays roller hockey, and they were on the same roller hockey team. They took
on the adult league.
Got the championship for the year too, so that was cool.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, was that basically all for yours?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You run down on yours?
Yeah. I know a lot. I'll say it now. A lot of people going to talk trash on me. No, it's just because my car's been down so long, man. I blew it up a couple years back.
Me
and
too. You're good.
It's just
3 years and
yeah, we're about the same boat. Yeah, man.
It's back now. I'm just working out some kinks.
Yeah.
Get back on track.
Pretty much for me, man. It was like I came from the street racing world and was doing like talking about back at the Speedway when they would do they do the Wednesday night drifting, and then they had the arm drop drag racing out front on the front stretch. That's kind of where I was at, and I think really been since 2005. I think I missed the very first MB drift event, and then another one I was out of the country for work, and so I think I probably only missed 2 events. Like, dang man, that's crazy to think. Yeah, I missed 2 events in all those years, but No, with me, got into street racing, and then I was like, I always like to, excuse the term, but I always like to beat the shit out of anything that I drive. So it's like, and I was like, man, drifting, I was like, dude, I can beat the shit out of my car all day long.
Yeah.
And it's cool. Yeah, this is where I need to do this. So I'm like, this is where I need to be at. So found a buddy through a buddy of ours, ended up picking up my first 240, got it for $300. It just needed drivetrain and coilovers.
Okay.
Already had a welded diff, full interior car and everything. And I was like, score.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
let's get it.
It was kind of like a little homie hookup. Got that. And then through another buddy, just got a KA and threw in there, put some coilovers on, and that's how I started. And then just kind of went out there, tried to learn, crash, wadded it up a couple times, learning stuff like that.
As one does.
Yeah, because that speedway had walls all around it, and we would have wall scraping challenges all the time.
Yeah, like literally, you would be sitting there in your little lawn chair, and imagine that right there being the wall, about that high, the top of the wall. So yeah, you could literally
reach it.
Yeah, you could smack it. It was kind of dangerous, but
the people would egg you on to wall scrape too, and they'd have pool noodles out there like, come on, get close, get close.
Yeah, I fell for it a couple times in my later on in my career, where it's like, I remember one time specifically, he's like, yo, get the wall, and I changed my line and just wadded my shit up right on there. But back to it, I got my first 240. I think it was a 91. Got that. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was an 89 car, because it had the heads up display and all that stuff still in there.
There you go.
So it was like, I wish I would have kept it, but got that, and then kind of started to learn the drive. Like I said, wadded it up a couple times, trying to learn, because I'm one of them people, I can't go easy. I have to, it's 100% right out of the gate.
Yeah.
It's the classic, like what every driver does.
I have no chill.
I'm going to go out there and make an easy pass. Wow. And it's just to the floor, is right out the gate. And did that. And then, tube chassis on the front. One of my buddies kind of helped me, taught me the ropes on, bending tube and stuff like that, and a little bit of welding. So that was kind of like my first experiences with that. Super fun. It really helps out later on when you're like, oh, okay, I know how to, cope these out and just get some welds and just little tricks. And he was a welder by trade too. So he was like, hey, these are some little tricks. Pretty cool. Then after that, man, like the shop we were renting, somebody bought the property, so we had to clear out all our stuff. And so we were trying to clean up stuff. And my one buddy, he was like, hey man, he's like, he just got an S14. He was like, hey man, I got this S13 out there. He's like, you do a clutch job, I'll give you the chassis. I said, shoot.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. So ended up, that's the chassis I still have now, and ended up taking that and just swapping everything over. And then I let my other car go for like $400, man, still. And this was probably
got some money out of it.
Yeah, probably 2017. Sold it $400. The dude's like, yeah, man, I'll bring you 50 more bucks. I'm 50 short. I'm like, all right, well, I'm keeping this, and the title. Dude never came back. So I was like, damn, I only got like 350 bucks for it. But yeah, then I tried to buy it back, man. It was sitting, it had like trees growing out of it. All he did was he took the doors off of it and then just parked the car.
Left it.
Yeah, I tried for years to get it, but I never had a spot I could put it. I didn't have any room to put it. So I'm like, dude, I got to find a way to get this thing. And I was in the process of moving, so I didn't really have, but
that sucks. But
so ended up just rolling KA, and then just kind of like progressed with it, learned to master my car. Then I never really drove the same car twice, because it's like I'd master it and I'd be like, I need this. All right, add that, master it. I need this. And eventually now,
that's the correct way, I'd say.
Yeah, I would agree, man. It's like, there's a lot of debate on this topic of building a pro car right out the gate before you have any seat time. But
by all means, if you got the money, go for it.
If you got the money, do it. But if you're, if you're on a budget, that's the best way to do it. Get you an entry level car, coilovers, weld the diff, get you a good seat or something. Go out there, learn, progress. And then I ended up, doing that angle kit. And then I was like, all right.
What angle kits you go with?
Homemade chopped stuff. We had a local dude.
Stuff,
local dude was cutting knuckles and stuff. So
get on that FDF, man.
Yeah, kind of got that. That's eventually when I get my stuff back, I kind of want to go the good route. Put
more big boy kit.
Yeah, put quality parts on it instead of homemade stuff, because I'm kind of like Marshall. It's like I just make stuff work. It's unorthodox, but
with
I'll make
240s you can. With the Z's, you can't. You're shit out of luck. You can't cut knuckles. So.
Yeah, can't do that. But Yeah, and then just went KAT, man, running on 10 pounds, RS enthalpy tune, just pretty much like all SR supporting mods, SR injectors, SR turbo, you know, run a 300Z math, pretty simple stuff, and it's all stuff that I just got from my friends. You know, I think the only thing I really had to buy was like I bought the computer, and then I kind of like built my build around that. I'd be like, hey man, you got this, you got that, all right, cool. Oh, all I need is an exhaust manifold. All right, we're good. And then just threw studs and a metal head gasket in there and let it ride. And then 5 years later, I think I drove it hurt for probably a year or two because it was a smoker.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
Dude, everybody I've had that's boosted a KA has just dealt with problem after problem after problem.
Yeah.
Blowing them up.
Yeah,
as
ring
soon as
lands.
they go on a drive.
Yep, and
crazy.
that's mostly what it is. You know, a lot of people will run it paper head gasket like a Felpro. You know, they say you can get like 14 pounds out of them, whatever. I just go straight metal. I'm like, if I'm in there, I'm gonna do it right. You know, I would use a paper gasket, but I always over engineer my stuff. Like I'll be one of them dudes. Like
explain
I'll build
why you would do that for the audience, going just metal head gasket.
I would just say like that. I mean, make sure you get your head surface and your block surface right. But I would go metal head gasket because I feel like just with that multi-layer steel, you can't beat that. A paper gasket, I feel like you just blow anything out. It's just going to come out in a piece. But for me, it was just more like for me, it was just for me, it was just knowing that hey, it's a multi-layer steel gasket. It's going to seal, and I ain't got to worry about it because
probably should have some head studs too, right?
Yeah, definitely put head studs in there, but yeah, I'd be like one of those people. I'd build.
You probably should just do that anyways.
Yeah, I'd build something capable of 750 wheel and only run 4 on it because you know you don't want to max out your stuff.
Yeah, you can always take power out.
Reliability is where I'm at. You know, it's reliability. I don't have a race shop. I have a garage. I want to build. I want to make sure it's reliable. But I guess back to it. Yeah, I blew my car up, and
I still keep pushing.
Long story short, it's gone.
Yeah, long story short, and then I started. You know, it's like and then it comes into that obligation. Okay, well, if I have my car, what do I bring to the track? The trailer with all the cones and all the track supplies, or do I bring my car?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, I guess, in my head.
That was going to be my next question: is how do y'all manage the driving?
Yeah,
because literally every fucking event host I've talked to, they can't drive. Like it's like you kind of just have to pick one or the other because especially like Swan or Ryan from Riverside, like they never get to drive.
Yeah, so I bring my car to every event. You know, it's got big, huge MB Drift logos on it, so it's a little bit of a marketing tool and all that. But I generally will get some practice in. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. I don't get time. But other times, you know, on average, I'd say I get about maybe 10 or 15 runs throughout the 2-day weekend. But occasionally, you know, we'll have some downtime like on a Sunday or something like that, and I'll get 20, 30 runs occasionally.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you ever show up early and get some laps in?
Oh, we used to on Friday, and then
that's what most people I see.
They were like, "Hey, man, you can't do it unless the ambulance is here." And we're like, "Dang, man!" So it's just kind of like track rules and stuff like that, and it's like, holy cow, you know. But that's where it comes into, you know, like you may or may not get some laps, so that's where it comes into, you know, just making sure that hey, you got enough hands on deck, so that way you do have that, and that was a goal of ours, was to try to. As far as like being able to manage events and stuff like that, was to get some help. So, you know, we talked about volunteers earlier, and then we have our staff members that come on and dedicate their time. Thank God.
Who would that be, Zach?
Man, you got Darren. I'm going to get your name right. Honorati. I always got his name
That's
wrong.
A cool last name.
Yeah. So you got Darren, and then, you know, you got Anthony Woods, Tony Martin, Steven Larson helping us do tech and stuff like that. Nate McDuffie, who was up here not too long ago, helping us stuff like that. Yeah. So, you know, that's like the core group.
Well, Christy too.
Yep. And then we got Christy and Rebecca. You know, Christy's got the Drift Wives thing. That's their thing. So they're the Drift Wives, the support.
But she helps corral us and schedule us sometimes too. So she does do a lot to help us out.
So that's where it is too. You know, making sure if you do have that help, then you can be able to drive more. So I guess that's what it is having an awesome support system. Mm-hmm. So that way it's like, hey man, you've been killing it. Go out there and drive and have fun. Because a lot of times, man, you don't have time to do it. You're just so consumed with everything, and it's hard to manage that time.
But I say fix the car, and then we'll worry about those problems afterwards.
Yeah.
We can make it work at that point.
Yeah. Come on, man.
We're shooting ourselves in the foot right now.
And it's just procrastinating, and it's just for me though. It was just in the back of my mind, like, man, if I do get my car going, and then it comes into that, will I have the weekends to be able to go drive other places? Because a lot of it, a lot of it you're already scheduled so deep. Some of us, luckily, I only have to work one Saturday a month. We do a rotation, but still, sometimes it may fall on that.
So okay, then what do y'all enjoy so much about doing these events and stuff? Because like you're like you both said, you're both working
a lot
full-time
of challenges
jobs
here.
and like
Where's the
you're
upside?
not making any money from it. So what's keeping you here? What's the point?
Honestly, for me, is just seeing the progression of the sport. And one of the big things that I always tell people, it's like one of the things that really, really, I don't want to say it nasty, but like one of the things that gets me off is like one things that makes it like puts it in my head that this is all worth it is when you see that dude on the track that's been struggling all day, and then they finally link the course and you see the smile. It's like, bro, your smile is coming out your car, like both sides. It's so wide. And that's really like, for me, that's really what it's all about, is just number one, the community, the sport. We've heard this a million times from everybody. It's the best community in the world, man.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. And the friendships you make, the cool cars you get to see.
Yeah, every event's 2 days, so we always camp out at the track, and so there's a lot of hanging out and stuff, and sharing a few beverages Saturday night typically.
Yeah, even that you got to cut yourself off. Like, yo, wait, we gotta run this stuff again tomorrow, man. We gotta go
the
to
normal
bed.
after hours.
Yeah.
But that's really
some of them really keep it going into the wee hours of the night.
Let's
That's
say
cool that
having
the
a good
track
time.
lets y'all do that though. There are some
They
that
got
won't.
beer
They'll be very
pong
strict
tournaments
about it.
going in the garages and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all get access to the garages?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Hey,
we use the
okay.
NASCAR garages for the actual pits.
Oh,
So that's
dude.
super
Yeah,
rad.
NSS, you can rent them up here. So every once in a while, if it's like a big event or something, they'll rent those out and you can get them.
Yeah, and these are free with
it's so
free
sick.
with entry. The only thing that sucks about it is like,
We've only got 18 or
What?
20
what spots?
indoor spots.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
So that's the only thing but that's a perk of like registering early is you can secure your garage spot.
Nice.
Especially if it's raining that weekend. That's super awesome.
But
If
in the
it's
heat
hot-
of the summer, it makes a big difference too, because it's got an insulated roof and it really keeps
Oh,
the heat out.
Keeps the heat out, yeah.
Yep.
You're in the shade
That's good.
and it's a barrier to the sun.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
So this facility has so much really going for it. It really helps us, get people out there.
It's a
and
good
stuff.
selling point.
Yeah, so it's a huge facility, got a great road course. We're getting new paving. We got indoor garages and so much space, multiple layouts. We get so much seat time for our drivers. It's like going to 2 or 3 other events. People hardly ever go home with tires. It was a little bit tire wear, but it's also a seat time thing because you never wait more than 5 minutes. Typically, unless
How
there's
many
an
laps on
on-track
average
collision.
is the driver getting per
we've-
day? We'll just go per
I would
day.
say as much as you want. Like now, obviously competition is going to be different because you're focusing on
just
comp,
the fun events.
But
and
even
stuff,
on
yeah.
that, we'll still have a separate course over there for fun runs during the comp. So I would say, realistically, man, running from
I feel like Larson said he did like 80 to 100 one time.
Good lord!
Yeah.
In one day?
in one day,
That's absurd.
Yeah.
I mean, because your
What the
track
hell?
goes hot at noon, and we're doing night drifting up until 10 o'clock at night these days.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah, so you just
So we
got 10 hours
of
straight.
drifting
Yeah.
in one day, and then Sunday's the shorter day,
Nuts.
and we start at like 10:30 and run to 5, so it's still
Yeah.
7.5
Wow.
hours.
And usually Sunday, everybody's kind of like they'll run. The beginning will be super busy, and then people will start loading up, and then you have those track heroes that are just out there running until you're like, hey man, it's time to shut down. And I would say be that dude. Be that dude that just keeps going and going and going and going and going because it's seat time.
Yeah, a lot of time
If you can afford it.
Yeah, if you got
if you can
tires.
afford-
Yeah, if you can afford it. But I'm saying that's one thing I always used to do when I would drive. I would bring I would just pull tires out of trash cans. Like, hey man, let me get these dumpster tires, and I would just bring every single tire I had. I bought as many rims as I could, and I would just already have them loaded up, and It's like, dude, that dude's been out there for like the last 2 hours. He done made 60 laps and by himself.
A lot of time it's like the Miata guys or, the lower horsepower guys that don't get a ton of tire wear. So their tires are lasting a long time. So they're just out there like going. One that really got it for me back in the day was Corey Munsell.
Yeah.
Like he had this beam swapped Corolla wagon.
Oh yeah.
And man,
Nice.
he was the last
I know
one. We had
exactly.
to
I know
run him
exactly
off.
what your event you're talking about at the Speedway.
Yeah.
Dude was just going, and it was like,
And there was some
Get it.
rain, so he had really good tire wear too, and he just kept it going nonstop.
Hell yeah.
see how happy he gets talking about these memories and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's why he does it, is because
Yeah.
it's the the pride of having
Yeah.
somewhere where somebody can go and have fun and keep them in a controlled environment and know that, hey, if anything happens, we got
Yeah.
you, your fellow drivers got you. So it's just
That's awesome.
going back to the community. Everybody's super rad, but for me, it's just seeing the smiles. I like to see people happy. That's how I am. I'm like good-hearted person. So seeing people smile and be happy, that's what does it for me. I would shed a tear sometimes, man. I'll be like so proud,
Now this
Yeah.
this obviously didn't like just come from day one. So like what were some of the mistakes y'all kind of went through to get to where it kind of works and everything's more efficient and fluent going through the events?
I would say, I mean, one
make
of
it more
one of the
enjoyable.
biggest things that's like kind of problems that we had in the beginning that you have to refine is more or less like knowing how to take constructive criticism, knowing how to work with people and make sure that
From who? Like drivers?
yeah, from drivers,
Spectators and stuff?
spectators, everybody on that. Like, a lot of people get asked up real quick. It's like, hey man, this event, whatever, it wasn't good. Like we know, like as an event organizer, if you had a good day or a bad day.
Yeah,
a lot of times it feels like you have a bad day, but then people will be like, oh man, it was awesome or whatever, because people won't see the tiny mistakes or things that go wrong behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So,
And
but
it
everything
stresses
that
us
goes into
out,
it.
but hopefully
Yeah.
it doesn't show.
They don't see the 2 trips you got to make.
Yeah.
Every event.
So,
Stuff- little
and
stuff
that's
like that.
kind of some of the things you got to learn is how to deal with people, because some people will get, fired up, like especially during competition. If they feel you made the wrong call, there may be some people get highly upset or whatever, and that you just gotta learn how to handle those situations. And other things are like learning how to take, like, all right, long story short is the track we were talking about earlier, where sometimes you have to, it's like, oh, you can't really take their words sometimes. So it might be a day where like, hey, we got this issue going on at the track, but we're going to do this instead. So for example, like, hey, the bathrooms at the track are jacked up, and then we'll have them fixed or whatever. And then you show up and the bathrooms aren't fixed. And then it's the day before the
All
event.
stuff that has nothing to do with driving.
The day before the event at like 4:30, you're calling around like, hey man, we need some porta potties here or something. And then
That's happened.
just so lucky they're like, oh, we got one driver out, we'll bring him out. And it's like, yes. So sometimes it works with you, sometimes it doesn't, but I'd really say that just one of the biggest things learning is just learning how micromanagement, because there's a lot of variables and a lot of things that will present themselves that you may or may not be ready for, and that's from start to finish.
And we always tell our drivers, hey, if a bulk of you want to go in a different direction or do something different than what we're doing, we're happy to do that. Just let us know.
Yeah.
But
and
where do you normally get that feedback? Is it through like Facebook, social media, or just people
usually
coming up to you in person?
a lot of it is in person.
Yeah, a lot of it's
Really?
in person.
Okay.
And then sometimes, you just get in the conversation in like the little chat room or whatever. We have a group, the MB Drift Chats and Media. So it's kind of like somewhere where, the drivers can ask questions to each other. Kind of like old school forum days, you're just random banter and talking and sharing media and
Anyone
stuff.
has access to that, I assume?
Mhm. Yeah, I did have to like, it's a private group. I did have it open, and I wish I wouldn't have changed it to private, because you can't change it back. But dude,
Shit.
anytime
I
you have a
didn't know
group,
that.
man, the spammers are crazy. So it's like all these. So I tried to like clean it up a little bit, and then ended up like that. But yeah, it's there.
We don't really reject anybody unless it seems like a spammer or somebody like that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Just for the people that like would want to.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of
MB
media
Drift
sharing.
Chats and Media is the group name. Then we also have another thing, Drift Carolina, which is more or less like the whole Carolinas.
Okay.
So that's where you can find like all the events going on
Gotcha,
town,
gotcha.
so.
It covers the whole scene. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Whereas
cool.
obviously it's our group. We're going to focus more on our events and stuff like that. But for the general whole, yeah, Drift Carolina. So come down on vacation or whatever, you can check it out.
Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah, I wanted to go back and touch on one other thing. As far as the positives for being an event organizer.
yeah.
You do feel very rewarded when you see people progressing and doing better and coming back and saying positive things about you. But to me, it also has a little bit of a legacy thing because I started it.
Yeah.
So it's
that's
like,
true.
I several times I've been like, all right, this is too much. I'm tired of doing this, but. It's just
When are we
like then I
moving
just
on?
get talked into it one more year, and I really do love it, but the amount of energy that goes into it is tough, and and then a lot of times a deciding factor, will be, oh well, I started this thing, it wasn't solely me, but
gotta see
I've
it
been
through.
there since day one, and so it's hard to kind of give that up because it's been a part of my life for so long now,
Yeah.
It's half my
It's
life.
like graduating high school, college. It's like, wait, fuck, what now?
Yeah. And that, I know that was time where Marshall was probably like, damn shit, this is where it's at, was like when the speedway closed and we had to transition to another track. It's like, could have easily gave up. There was
Yeah,
a
coulda
line in the
consumed you.
sand that we had to either step away from or cross. So it's like one of the old guys used
Yeah,
to say in
and
the track,
our-
he's like, here's the line, man, you got to cross it.
Yeah.
And our organizational members had split right at that time.
Yeah,
too.
so we had to
Oh,
start
so
off
a little bit of a
Yeah, so starting fresh with less
Yeah.
people with the split off, so it was kind of like, man, where do you go? And that, and I do give Marshall a lot of respect on that. That's something to where he could have let it die and just swept it under the bed. But him being him, and having
I was like,
power through.
yeah, I was like, Zach, what do you think, man? I can't do it without you. So
Yeah.
are we gonna keep this thing going? Or
and I'm
what?
not gonna lie, there's times where I'm like, hey man, I don't want to do this no more. Just
Yeah.
because and it's not like oh, I don't want to do this no more because of point A, B, or C. It's just like sometimes it does get a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
And
But I mean,
Zach will get frustrated at
Anyway.
the track sometimes. And I'm like, all right, calm down.
Yeah, it's just
gotta
yeah.
just give it a minute.
Yeah, and that's the
I'll take
stuff,
care
like-
of this for you right now.
We'll
You
take
just go chill
15.
for a minute.
Yeah, and that's just me. Like I'm like, dang man. So I'm one of them people where it's like if something's messing up, I'll go take the lead on it, and then I'll get upset because I'm like, dang man, I'm doing this, but I'm needed here, and here. And it didn't happen last year. That was my goal last year. Was like I was like, I'm not gonna let the little stuff.
And
bother
that's a
me.
big part of both of our problem is like we want to just, well, if it needs to be done, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Because we're like the worker bees. So, we want to just get it done. And, I don't want to have to ask somebody for help, but you almost have to learn to do that.
Yeah, and that's another big thing that was a struggle, is asking people for help. It's very hard. Like we're those people where we just do the stuff ourselves. So it's like we feel like sometimes when we're asking for help, it's like I don't want to burden that person.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. And that's just human nature sometimes.
well, speaking of that, because you mentioned the volunteer stuff, but is there anywhere specific that someone could reach out? Is it that group chat?
Yeah. If you
to,
if you
like,
did
be one of those
yeah,
volunteers?
and if you want to be a volunteer and help us on the days that we have, whatever's available to you. You can always reach out to us at mbdrift3@gmail.com, or find me on Facebook, Zach Sebald, and or just add yourself to the MB Drift chats and media. And then I usually tend to put posts up kind of month or two before the event, try to gain some interest on that, and or just
Cool.
find one of us on there and message us, or just put up a post, hey, I want to do this, what's up, and just
So,
holler at your boy.
variety of
Yeah,
ways.
Yeah,
Just
so
yeah,
pick one.
yeah. Just get a hold of us, more or less.
our team is always like evolving too. We've got our
Yeah.
primary core group of, that helps try to organize things behind the scene. But, volunteers ebb and flow a lot, and stuff. Sometimes people can't make it and we get new people. And then,
Yeah.
but it's exciting for them a lot of the time. And it definitely is work, but,
Yeah,
if
and
we all
that's
chip in
and that's even
together,
the
we
thing
can-
too, man. I try to make it as easy as possible because I feel like, yeah, you volunteered for this, but I don't want to burden you. You know what I'm saying? Like it sucks.
you still
let's,
get some.
let's be honest, man. It
some
sucks
value
being out there in the
yourself out of
sun, running around, grabbing cones and stuff like that. Yeah, it sucks sometimes when it's hot or it's raining or
Yeah.
something to that nature. But if you have a love for the sport and stuff, you're, like I said, you have the best seat in the house. So sometimes it overweighs that.
Well, cool.
You know,
Hell yeah. Well, if you want to volunteer, now
Yeah.
you know where to go.
hit us up.
Come help us out. Glad
Yeah.
to see you out there.
All right. So I guess when did y'all start all the comps? Was that like from day one you were doing comps? Or...
Not quite, but
No?
pretty.
Okay.
We
When
were
did y'all
trying to think
decide
about
that?
that. It was like 07 or 08. We started
Yeah.
doing comps at the Myrtle Beach Speedway.
Why'd y'all want to just start doing that versus the
At
fun
the
events?
time, that was me and one of the other organizers were kind of trying to pursue pro-am stuff, and
Oh, okay.
so we had that mindset. We don't want to force it on you, but anybody wants to kind of come out here and learn that competitive format,
Yeah.
and then that way, if you do want to take it further, you'll be prepared for that.
Gotcha.
So we wanted to help prepare people and build drivers and make them progress in their skills and all that stuff. Because you can learn just by going out there and having fun all the time. But there's also a different level of learning when you go out and compete with people. Then
Oh,
you're
yeah, it's a
absolutely.
whole
you're
different
compared exactly to this other driver, and you've got to do a better job. And without a doubt, based on the judge's
It's
decision.
just honing
Yeah.
skills more and more.
Yeah.
That's where you learn different driving techniques and stuff like that.
Yeah. And y'all just run like normal rules and stuff.
Yeah,
like
we
every
got
other
on
comp,
our
correct?
website mbdrift.com. We got all of our rule book and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
sweet, okay.
we try to keep it as professional as we can as far as with the comps. Got our rule book. Got something that we're going to do this year is like, I was like, man, let's have the judges. You have like a code of conduct. So it's like,
Oh,
hey,
okay.
so that way
We
it's-
want you to verbally say that you're not going to be biased in any possible way.
because the drift community
okay.
is big, but it is small at the same time. So
Yeah.
it just helps with like people will be like,
because it's a
that
judged
dude's
sport.
That dude's judging, but that's his homeboy. So
Mhm.
is he going to give his homeboy a better score than what he should get? So it's
Yeah,
more or less
gotcha,
just keeping
gotcha.
it fair, and also letting the drivers be able to confide in us to know that hey, it's going to be as legit as it can. It's not like people take this serious.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we got to take it serious.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. It's like, we don't want any, understandably there are some protests and stuff like that just from calls or whatever, but
Of course. Bound to happen.
we just want to make sure that, hey, you already know that it's not fixed. Cause
Yeah.
so some other comps, I mean,
There's
even,
always going to be people
even on
that
the
wanna
professional
argue that
level with
point, but it
FD,
just
people
doesn't
are
make
like,
sense.
oh, the judges don't know what they're doing,
Or it's
their
fixed for these
favoritism.
drivers.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Forsberg gets the win.
The
it's like-
famous phrase.
So, but like stuff like that is just, ensuring that, because like I said, man, it is serious. A lot of these drivers take it serious. They spend thousands and thousands of dollars
yeah.
to pursue their goal.
And we spend a fair amount of money on media and stuff too. And so we have a live stream that actually live streams our comps, so
okay.
people can go back and review their runs.
And I honestly
Yeah.
feel like, and I'm not being biased because it's us, but I would feel like our live stream, there's, it's just like any other live stream. There are some downtime and stuff like that. But as far as the live stream itself, we got a local group from Myrtle Beach, MBK Productions. They do a lot of drone
Okay.
stuff, video production.
Yeah, racing drones and stuff.
We pretty much met them at a
Sweet.
monster truck show, and then Marshall actually helped them invest in some equipment. So it
to
was
get
like,
them to the
Okay.
next level to help us
Yeah.
in this. We did,
Yeah.
invest in them and
So
help them get the equipment to do all this kind of stuff. And I was like, and this is going to help you have a product that you can sell to a bunch of different organizations.
yeah, and then it just
potentially.
kind of evolved. We super good group of people, and they're just every time they're just getting better and better. So I like I said, I'm not being biased, but I feel like our live stream is one of the better drift live streams.
Yeah, we
out
run
there.
commercials for our sponsors and all that
Oh,
stuff
that's
too,
cool.
in a lot of the downtime.
Yeah, so it's a production. It really is. It's
Wow.
no Drift Masters where they got like 4 or 5
Well,
different
yeah.
semi
That's a
trucks
whole
back
different
there.
level.
That's like super production. But as far as it goes, they do an extremely good job.
And this past year, our judges had a TV where they could review calls if they needed to, if they had a questionable.
Yep.
Yeah.
So and they
situation?
sit right beside the production team, so they're like, "Hey man, run that back for us real quick."
Yeah.
So they'll do that and they'll break it down and run it real
Easily
slow,
coordinate
back and
and
forth,
stuff,
and
yeah.
Replays happen automatically on it, just kind of like a Formula Drift
Oh.
live stream would. But then they can say, "Okay, one more time," if they need to keep looking at it and look at specific things.
yeah. And so with that, yeah, I would definitely say, they are long. we were trying to get like, and that's one of the things that we were trying to like, every year you learn something.
Yeah.
So it's like every time you do it, you might be like, oh yeah, we did a good job, but you always got to look, you know, it's just with
There's
anything.
always something to
just
improve,
better
of
in
course.
anything. You can always find things to improve on. So, you know, like one thing that we were going to try to do was for the live stream, instead of it being a big chunk, to breaking it down. So to be like, whatever, like qualifying. Oh, all right. Kind of like FD does. They'll break it off, come back for the top 32, break it off, come back for top 16. So that way you ain't got to like search through it for hours and find yourself. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff like that. But
yeah, since we've been doing it a while, we've figured out a few things and am able to keep it as professional as possible.
What are some of those things that you've kind of upgraded over the years of doing just the comps alone?
Well, I'll say the biggest thing was just having the live streams and having the judges be able to have those reviews and come back. Some other things we've had to do is on the rule book, you know, we try to pull a lot of stuff from the FD rule book because again, we're a grassroots series. We want everybody to
preparing them.
So so it's kind of like a school. It's like, hey man, you need to learn. It's not. There's more to just driving. You learn your ethics, you know, like, hey, you got to be on time to these drivers meeting. You can't fuck around. Like once you get to these higher ends, if you're late or you don't show up to the line, you got a 0 because you weren't here. You know, some of those things, but like
should be
adjusting every year. You'll find things that you need to add or take away from the rule book. Like we had an instance where somebody said a part flew off their car. So the lead driver, a part fell off their car, came back, hit the kill switch under the hood for the other driver's car, and they said that's why they lost the battle.
What?
But so something like that. So now it's like, okay, well, you know, we didn't really have that in there.
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, that happened and it caused the scene to where we had to debate a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and there was more to the story, but
we were able to review the live stream too and not see any evidence of that, but
yeah, and it wasn't like...
So he lost the protest. He actually protested it.
Damn.
Yeah, so it was something like that. So now it's like, okay, well, you got to throw that in the rule book just in case it happens again. It's already handled.
There's a whole connection.
Yeah, because I'm one of them people like, where I say, it's good in the world. There's black and white. There's no gray area because especially in a judge sport, if you have a gray area, people are going to find that gray area and they're going to use it to their advantage.
Exploit the hell out of it.
Exactly. You know? Damn right, man. So it's like you already got to nip it in the bud before it happens.
And we had to adjust our debeating rule this year too.
Yeah, like tire debeads, we had to adjust that a little bit too because it's like, you know, if you debead a tire, you know, it's like, okay, well, what are the rules? Because we didn't have rules set in place for like a tire debead.
Because I was in a comp last year and dude debeaded, but he was able to just go change his tire and then do the second run.
But doesn't FD, like, you have to run that tire? Like you have to go try and rebeat it?
No, they'll let you get a new tire because basically if the tire debeads, like the way we're looking at it too, if the tire debeads, the tire's damaged.
Yeah.
Because the sidewall is just shot. So in a safety aspect, so now it's like, okay, if you debead, now both drivers go change their tires. So that's be like something like that. So it's like the second driver will have the opportunity because it's like in his instance where it's like, yo, he changed the one good tire and then, you know, was able to have better tread wear, you know, be able to get more grip being on a fresh tire versus one that it was already.
Yeah, if that situation would have been an FD, that person would have been disqualified and not able to run.
Yeah.
Because your tire can't finish the second battle.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
So we tried to, you know, obviously being grassroots, we want to try to have a little bit of
grace.
Yeah, a little bit of grace period too, you know, just like with something about like you know, making a pass like man, dude, I can't even remember what the call a Byron. Yeah. So, you know, there's a thing like in FD where you know, if you have to make a buy run, you have to make a buy run.
Yeah.
Where it's like us, it's like, okay, we understand that tires are expensive, so if you don't want to take a buy run, we'll honor that.
Yeah, and that helps us with time management to keep the show going too, you know, get on to the next thing and
So there's a couple of different variables of things that, you know, you pick up year to year that you have to, you know, kind of pick up on or let go of. And just it's more or less just situational. You know,
and it's ever adapting, with the staff, with the rule book, with everything. You know,
so those that you get out there, if you want to run, you know, if you want to run a series, it's a lot, like it's a lot of work. It's a lot of stuff, and it's ever changing. And just, if you're adaptive to things, that's even better, because then you can just adapt and
If
win.
someone wanted to go make sure they went to every single event in the series, the comp series, can they just buy a full season ticket? Is that like
we do sell a season pass?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How much are those compared to just a one weekend?
Yeah, so with our season pass, you get all 6 events, and only 4 of them are going to be comps.
Okay.
And with a season pass, you get a locked-in garage.
days.
Yeah, you get a locked-in garage spot for the whole
season.
Ooh, shit.
Indoors,
Yep.
you're
That's
same
butter.
spot
Yeah.
every time.
So that's like one of the perks. And then this year we're gonna do like a season pass holder T-shirt, so kind of like a little perk,
Okay.
be like members club or something like that. But yeah, we try to do like season passes. We'll try to run them in 2 or 3 tiers of pricing. So to be like,
I think this is our 2nd or 3rd year with season passes.
mm-hmm. Yep.
Nice,
So
okay.
yeah, roughly about $1,000. For early bird, you get it
not
like
bad.
so. It pretty much just goes like 9, 10, 11.
Yeah, for our area, we're kind of almost towards the top of the price range. There's one that's half the price of us, and then everybody else is about the same price as us. But our facility is what really makes it such a high value, because getting
You get a
so
little
many
bit more
runs.
extra out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More convenience, more comfort, all that.
So yeah, and then season pass and regular tickets, like just a regular drift day costs you like $120 at the gate.
That's still not bad
for
at
the
all
5.
either.
or $125 at the gate, or $200 for
Yeah.
both days, or depending how you do it. All those are on mbdrift.com, so you can get your season passes, just regular event passes, spectator passes, whatnot like
Sweet.
that. So spectators $20, free ride-alongs. So,
There you go. Free ride-alongs. That's killer.
yeah, most definitely. A lot of people are like, man, you guys are charged for ride-alongs, and it's like, how much
Sign a waiver. That's
how much more logistics goes into that? You got to have somebody loading, unloading, collecting money, getting tickets.
Yeah.
We're just not.
We'd
there
rather
yet.
have a more hardcore drift fan for free than
Yeah.
making some money on it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Build the brand first.
Yeah, it would help, but
Well,
it's
the sport, really. Because,
Yeah,
I mean,
introducing.
they won't be necessarily guaranteed
yeah.
fans of only us. They could go to any other drift event and sit. Once they see how much fun it is,
Yeah, yeah.
then they'd be like, all right, yeah, let's go to every
see
drift
them in a
event we
car.
can.
Yeah,
you
see
know?
them come out in the car. Where
Or even if it's a continued spectator situation, it's still the same thing. But both benefits us and the whole community.
Hell yeah.
Yep. And then as mentioned too, you got like we camp there overnight. We got RV hookups, so you can bring the RV. We run that like $40. Pull up your RV, you got
that's not
hookups,
bad.
get some power, get some water, all that. And they got their
Shit,
own their own
Way
separate
cheaper
lot.
than a hotel. Damn
Yeah.
it.
Well, that too, and there's
And
not
then-
really much around Rockingham. It's like 11 miles the town
Oh,
to
yeah.
get a hotel
Any
and stuff.
restaurants
Like
at least?
everything's about 11 miles away, man. It's like literally
Damn.
out in the
I think
sticks.
it's 8, but
Is it?
yeah, something like
All
that.
right.
That's not horrible.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a gas station like 5 minutes down the road, but you're out.
You got
You're out in
that,
the middle of
shit.
nowhere. One cool thing is there's no sound ordinance, so
24/7. Be as loud as you
Technically,
want.
Perfect.
Technically, you could run
well, you run until 10 p.m. I would hope so.
Yeah, I think we're going to try to run our summer Matsuri event, the non-comp in the middle of the summer, till like at least midnight, maybe 1 even. Damn. Because we got lights out there too.
Yeah. So they just redid all the lights and all that stuff out there too. So,
Hell yeah.
but yeah, that's some of the things. Yeah, you just gotta be ever changing, always adapting.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
y'all said you had sponsors and stuff too. So do y'all do like giveaway prizes for?
Yeah, our sponsors contribute prizes to our competitions. So we have round prizes and then season prizes.
So
So we have
I made notes.
four, round,
look at you.
4 rounds of competition, and then with points building throughout the year, and then the season champion is going to get the really big prizes.
Okay, so what are some of the prizes and how can you gain them or get them?
Yeah, so pretty much, I mean, for each round we give each round prizes, and then obviously a season winner prize. But
Yeah, we pay cash out of pocket too, on top of the prizes.
Yeah, so you get a little
wow.
little bit of cash back, and prizes. So usually per round, 500 for first, 250 for second, and then we always do a free entry for third.
And then we have
Okay.
one of our sponsors give the round winner at least some type of
Yeah, so you get a little
Product
swag
or
pack,
something
like
like that,
we got some of our good friends over at Bridge Moto.
Yeah, I was gonna
you
say
know,
they were
Alan
our
always-
round sponsor
Yeah.
last year, and they gave away belts and steering wheels and all this
Yeah,
stuff.
so each
Yeah.
round you get gloves and stuff like that, and that's one thing that with the sponsors and stuff, we try to integrate into the series. So it's number one, being a grassroots, you're trying to build the driver up. Like our main goal is to get the driver to go to Pro-Am, which last year season winner Nicholas Abbott clean sweep the whole. the year before
First
that
year
was
ever.
struggling. This year came back with a clean sweep and
Won first place every single event. It'd never been done before any season since 2008 or whatever.
Never been done.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Shout out to you, dude.
Yeah, Nick Abbott coming out. So watch out for him, Pro-Am, and that's his goal is like going pro. So like that's exactly the ladder of how it would be. And then coming in with the prizes and stuff, it's more or less designed to get your car to the next level. So you get your safety equipment, you get your suspension upgrades, you get your angle kits.
I think that's smart, especially for comp series.
Yeah, we're definitely big on pushing safety products too, because people, especially new people in drifting, underestimate those things. So we want to show that we're encouraging and all that stuff for those upgrades to make the car safer and safer. Overall, it's fairly safe sport. You can get into some stuff. It didn't get like we've never had any really major injuries or anything. We've had crashes.
Yeah, people get tangled up. One of my favorites was lug nuts sucked through the wheel, man. And it just was like coming around the big sweeper and just both back wheels just blew off and the car, the whole back of the car just flew up in the air and it was just, he was still at lock, man,
crazy.
Just cruising, dude. I was like, yo.
The one that stands out in my mind the most from back in the day was the RX-7 Rage Quit.
Oh, that's on YouTube.
Look that one up.
RX-7.
It was an FC, and
this one has a funny story to it too.
Yeah, it was my buddy who got into drifting, and he was selling the car that day, and I had used his car and made a bunch of runs because he was nice enough to let me use it, Yeah. And so I made like 8 or 10 runs in a row. He goes up and makes one run, the last one of the day, and he's about to sell the car, and then he goes out and both the lug nuts shear off, I think just on one side. But then the wheel goes under the tire or under the floor.
Yeah, kicked it up.
And kicked this thing 4 feet off the ground and it was an FC RX-7 Rage Quit.
It's like they just went to the bank to get the money to buy this car and they come back and it's just like laid out with the shit blowed off of it. You're like,
needless to say, he got a discount on that one.
Yeah. Well, no, it worked out though because he ended up selling the trailer with it because it couldn't move. So he's like,
there you go.
So but there's some wild stuff. I mean, luckily nobody gets hurt, but that's higher speed stuff. Yeah, you definitely have. So keep up all the drivers out there, man. Just make sure your safety gear is in check because
and Bridgemoto has a discount code for 15% off.
Yep.
Just hit us up at the event. We'll gladly give it to you.
Yep. So with that, that's one thing we're trying to we do.
And all
with
your
the
other
discount
safety
code.
equipment is on Injuku.
There you go.
There you go. I shop with Injuku quite a bit myself.
Really?
Super fast shipping, man. It's like you get
just
it
right in Florida.
Yeah.
So it's not
and
super far
they got
at all.
a lot of RB parts selection too.
That's a good. They have literally an RB tab.
Yeah. So I've been in jams before and ordered stuff up, and I'm like, dude, super sweet. So kudos to Injuku for the super fast shipping. Definitely get you what you need. Faux show.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I actually bought a water pump for an RB20 not too long ago from them.
Nice.
About 6 months ago.
I may have to get me a power steering pump. I'm not sure yet. So we'll see.
But yeah, and then back to the prizes and stuff. It's all about just building your car up, and then the season prizes. Try to do it's like a 3K split. Now, obviously, we're not making money or anything
I think first place got 4K last year.
So we're forking out a little bit of cash.
That's
we're
good,
doing the best we can with it. Obviously. Then with that, like last year, we gave away over $20,000 in prizes. So
damn,
what
are some of the better prizes, like actual product stuff that you guys have given away?
Last year, Just Engineering, they're also a Canadian company.
Yeah, super good products there too, man.
Yeah, they gave away $500 to each first, second, and third prize money. But the previous year they gave full angle kits for all 3 top winners. $1,800 angle kits.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah. Now we're on with Fortunato. We love BC. We worked with BC before. Loved them to death. Had a good relationship. They ended up getting up with Nick Fortunato. Got that. So like our season winner get a set of coilovers. So you get a full set of Fortune 500s, or you can
switch that over to
let me know. And or you can use that credit and like chip in some extra cash and get an upgraded version as well.
Yeah.
You know, KBD Body Kits hooking us up,
Dude,
getting a kit.
big shout out to that.
Yeah, most def. Irvin's awesome. It's what our buddy Tony Martin that helps us out. He does a lot of the stuff with the sponsorships
Nice.
and stuff with that. So it's cool to like have those relationships with these companies, because I mean, really, it's just a big networking thing. You know, it's what it is. So
I actually have a KBD bumper, front bumper on my car, but it's the fiberglass version. It was like right before they really blew up with the super flexible stuff.
No way.
So I got the cheaper version.
Marshall got all the old school
Holy
parts. Look at him, dude.
Dude, Irv. What? That's crazy.
Yeah, it was the cheaper version. So I was like,
Huh.
Yep. And then like also for season winners too, you know, Bridge Moto's giving out the things. Then we got Olivia Walsh she does like liveries and stuff like that, doing all of our designs.
Okay.
She's gonna give away a livery for the first
design.
place. So that, and then we got
that shit's expensive, dude. I'm paying for one right now.
yeah. We got Cruisin' Auto out of Fayetteville. They got a lot of cool cars at their shop all the time.
and they're fun to hang out with. They're the party animals.
Yeah,
on
they're
Saturday
the beer
nights.
pong. Yeah, they always have the tournament going, man. So shout out to Eric Cruisin' and your gang. You know, they're doing like dyno sessions. So you can go up there. So see how it's all like set up for you to go to the next level. So right there,
progress.
you know, you get a livery.
I love that y'all have thought about that.
Yeah, body
Very
kit,
in-depth.
and then you know, safety stuff. Then you get with Cruisin' Auto, got the dyno time, so you can go dial in your car. Turbo time, which is Steven Larson.
Yeah, he's
out
giving
north.
away a $2,300 turbo this year.
Yeah,
for
so
first place.
you can get a Garrett turbo, whatever size you need. So that works
Shit.
good with, you know, you get your turbo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then we're missing an ECU management company, but it's like something like that. Yeah, then you can get set up. You can get that.
He's also
tuned and all
giving
that.
away $500 gift certificate for anything he sells for second, and then I think $250 for third place.
Yeah, and I mean we'd love to have some more. So if anybody listening, if you want to be
Congratulate Link. They
yeah,
love.
yeah, if you see this and you want to be involved, I mean we still have some that we're kind of working on that we can't release right yet because we don't know if it's for sure or not. But you know,
Still
if you have
nailing some
any interest in it or whatnot, just reach out to us. Again, you can reach out at MB Drift Series on Facebook, Instagram, send us a message on there, or
Even
MB Drift
YouTube.
3 yeah, at gmail.com. You
That's
can reach
all-
out to us.
All MB Drift Series.
Yeah, so
Easy
you
peasy,
know,
every platform.
we see a pretty good amount of drivers for comps. I think the most we had last year, I think it was 72 cars or something. It generally isn't that many. You get, you know, maybe 40, 45, whatnot, which is still good. I hate it sometimes though whenever you run to a top 32 and then it's like, man, some cats don't get to drive, but hey, guess what? If you didn't make it in the show, you get to go over to the fun track and play over there.
There you
Yeah,
go.
So
you're
yeah,
still-
see,
Yeah,
like that
You're
plug,
still
right?
getting seat time. Oh yeah.
So yeah, you know, and it's all cool with that. You know, it's just trying to give back to the drivers, which I feel like a lot of you know, people that run series, that's what they try to do, because it's like giving back. There's not really, let's be real, man. It costs you a lot of money to do this, so any kickback you can get is super rad.
Hell yeah. All right.
You know?
Well, I guess if you could give it's like kind of like a elevator pitch almost. Like a 60-second elevator pitch of why someone should come to your event versus other local events, we'll say.
I don't know. You want to do that?
You've hit a bunch of like points
Yeah.
on what distinguishes
I would
your
say
event,
like
but-
this. I mean, number one, you're at the historic Rockingham Speedway, man. Like, there's people that have come to the events and they're like, yo, I sat in the stands out there as a youngster. So, you know, just being part of history on that. Being able to run multiple tracks and multiple layouts, especially on the Matsuri days where
Variety.
yeah, you have a lot of
Yeah.
variety. The covered garages, that's a big selling point. You know, location, it's fairly central to everything, so that's a good selling point. And I'd say really it's just the people in the atmosphere it sells itself, really. You know, we all have a good time. We try to give everybody as much seat time as we can. But I would say really it's like the atmosphere and the scenery and the people is just really, really what makes it happen, you know, being able to have that camaraderie between each other.
We're not going to diss you. We're always here to help you. Any staff member will give you any pointers that we can to help you progress or get past that little hurdle that you're having.
Yeah.
And just a good time, fun atmosphere, you know, just good people to hang out with.
Yeah, and I know probably every other organizer would say the same thing, but it's like you just have to experience it to to really understand it. Like I said, once you come through the tunnel, you're like, damn, this place is huge.
I
and
understand.
Then just seeing everything and like that. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty,
Awesome.
pretty standard, but
Yeah.
you know, it's really just seat time. I think is probably number one.
Yeah. You probably get more seat time than just about anywhere that we're aware of anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, that's always a good selling point. So, do you have anything coming up this year that you want to make sure is mentioned for the guys that are going to be coming, or just anything you want to announce that
Well,
you haven't already?
I'll say this year we're just going to strive again to be even more professional than we were last year. You know, sometimes timeliness and stuff, but I'd say like the biggest news is, hey man, they're paving the infield, dude. It's happening. They're paving the infield.
Taking a badass situation and making it better.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's like the biggest news, man.
And we're still in a little suspense on that too, because we don't know how much extra they're going to do. So we're like really excited.
yeah, we're
to
gonna
see
pop. We're gonna pop in and see what's up. You know, we get
Go
'cause
poke the bear a little bit.
Yeah.
And see what we can
Hopefully
do.
by the time this is released, that maybe it'll be complete by then.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just show them the podcast. Be like, we did some extra promotion.
Yeah,
You gotta
because
do
we got to do
extra
that.
stuff.
It sucks. It's on the same weekend as Hyperfest, but we got to do their open house up
Ah,
there,
yeah.
and it's cool though. I guess they're going to get, we're going to be awarded or whatever for being the longest running motorsport since
Yeah,
they
we were
reopened.
the first motorsport back in since they reopened of dormancy.
Yeah, so it's
That's
like we're
crazy.
trying to
And
go
we
up there
booked-
before then to kind of
Yeah.
spy and look over the fence and be like, "What'd y'all pave, man?"
Yeah, and we book more events there than anybody does.
Hell yeah.
You know, by the numbers.
Mhm. Yeah, we started out with 10, and then well, I don't want to get off topic now.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. Well, that was another thing that we learned going back to some of that, was that doing 1-day events was less efficient than, so we decided to make them all 2-day events,
That's good.
so that a
Yeah.
lot of those resources can be synergistically combined.
Yeah, and also helps the drivers, because like if you come the first day and like your car breaks, but you can get it
Oh,
fixed
yeah.
overnight and get back, you still get some seat
See, that's a
time,
good thing
stuff
about
like
up in
that,
Rockingham too, is nobody has imports up there. So anytime you call the parts store, they're like, "Yeah, we got that," and they wipe the dust off of it, and then it's like, yo, you need 240 parts. They
hilarious.
got a whole shelf because nobody up here buys them. Like I've tried to look.
They've
for
had
like, the
one
im-
or two of them sitting on the shelf for 5 years.
Yeah, it's all dusty. Just blow it off
Yeah,
and
wipe
there
the
you go,
barcode
man.
off
It's
so
like-
you can even scan
It's
it.
like, dude, the rubber's dry, man. What's up? But not like it wouldn't be.
Just throw
like
some
that.
oil
Yeah.
on it. It's fine. Just you lube it. Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh,
that's pretty
awesome.
cool.
But
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
so we're just trying to make it bigger and better every year, and that's what we strive to do. And we hope everybody comes out and checks it out, because it is a lot of fun, including you. Maybe you can make it
Yeah,
out
that's
sometime.
dope.
It's
Yeah.
not too far, so hopefully I'll be able to
Yeah,
get you out
well,
there
that's
this
what it
year.
is, man. If you ever want to cruise down, man, we'll be hospitable for you. Make sure you got everything you need. I mean,
Appreciate
take
that.
care of us while we're here, so return the favor. It's just how we
Oh,
are,
yeah. With especially working full time, like how do you deal with the sacrifices of running all of the events, taking away looks damn near most of your weekends?
Yeah,
So where's the home life
Yeah.
balance?
yeah.
as well?
I'll let Marshall go first on that one, because man, I could give you ears full just on my
Yeah.
experience. But
I don't like to complain, and I'm not looking for a pity party. It's a lot of work, with all the planning. We do multiple meetings a week. We have a constant group chat going. Obviously I make multiple trips for every event. I've been with my company since I've lived in Myrtle Beach, which is 23 years. So I have like gobs of, time I can take off. I know Zach doesn't quite have that luxury to have unlimited.
Yeah, it's like I get 2 weeks of vacation or 2 weeks of vacation from work.
Yeah.
But it's like at the end of the day, though, how many of those do I really get for myself? Maybe 2, because all the rest go to like drift weekends, or like anytime you have a free weekend, it's like use your vacation days for drifting. And it's like, oh man, I can't really go anywhere or do nothing.
Yeah.
But that's just like one of the sacrifices it is. So like Marshall said, you're constant calls and stuff like that. And I guess like the biggest thing I want to let everybody know is like, if you want to do this, you have to commit. Like you can't just half-ass it. You got to commit, because it's going to consume you.
You kind of have to go into it expecting
and you gotta
a loss.
want to do it, just like
truthfully.
you talked to earlier. Like, why do you do it? So it's like, that's one of the biggest things that for anybody that's thinking about doing this is like, you got to commit. It's a lot of stuff, man. And it's like Marshall said, it's not like a pity party or nothing. It's just, hey, we want to be transparent and let you know that it's a lot of shit that goes into this.
Yeah.
Constant.
100%.
Mm-hmm. So that's about all.
Do you have anything else to add on that?
Lost my thought.
Yeah, that was basically what I just wanted to come across was like
there's gonna be a shit ton running an event, or truthfully, just being in drifting, anyways.
Yeah,
like you said, just using your off days to even go to the events, you're gonna be doing the same thing if you're just a driver.
Yep.
So you kind of understand that you're sacrificing your big week-long vacations that you usually take for your mini vacations.
Yeah.
And truthfully,
and then it comes into like
what I'd rather have.
Be an organizer and a driver. Then you got to double up the pony on that. So it's like, you know, that's where you're talking about mini vacations. But let's be real though. Mini vacations are always the best vacations.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Dude, if I'm on a beach for a week, I will lose my shit. Oh my God. I'll just be, all I'll be able to think about is the work I have to do. And I'm way behind. I'm wasting my time. I'm not even relaxed right now. All I'm doing is stressing.
Yeah, you're just thinking and thinking. Yeah. So it's like, hey, let me go take a couple of days and then get back on the grind, you know? That was what was cool about coming up here. Yeah, it's like, because we got to do...
Hey, this is still considered work.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, I took vacation to come up here, man. It's like, you know, it's like, all right.
And we got a car show to go to tomorrow.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to get to. So
we
you know, leave Friday, come up here, do this today, and then as soon as we leave here, we got to go over to Greenville, North Carolina for a car show. So we're putting in like this weekend is 24 hours of driving 1,500 miles. So that's a lot of stuff.
That's a sacrifice in itself.
Yeah. But then again, it's just road tripping with the friends. So, and it's good too, because, you know,
still fun.
A lot of us, you know, that's where I give credit, like Marshall's wife, my girlfriend, Rebecca, I give a lot of credit to them because it's like, you know, I had to give her a calendar. That's like, she's like, well, what are you doing this week? And I'm like, yo, here's my calendar with all my stuff on it. You know, so it's like you know, you still got to manage that too.
I don't even know what's on here. Just take it.
Yeah, with your relationship too. So it's like, you know, having that, and luckily, you know, they're extremely, extremely patient with us whenever we got all this stuff going on. But you know, I feel like they love it like we do. So
that's good.
Supporting your people.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I guess now we'll jump into the last few questions. So I started this one just this year. Basically, well, both of y'all have a 240, so that kind of works perfectly. So you have a bone stock version of your car. You have tires, because that was a whole ordeal. Anyways, so just consider you have tires. And then you have $3,000 to spend on parts from Injuku to get your car to the very first track day ever.
Right.
You're brand new to drifting. What parts are you guys going to prioritize?
Both having the same car, I'm curious to see how our answers are going to similar or be different.
Yeah. So whoever wants to go first, man. Just run it.
Yeah. To me, I remember back in the day when I first started sliding around in the car, and my knee would be banging against the door, and I had the roll-up window, so my knee would be sore at the end of the day by that handle. So I would say seat is probably one of the first things I would do, a fixed bucket seat so you're not moving around.
Dude, someone commented today, instead of buying a seat, just buy knee pads. I was like, bro, what the hell?
No, man.
Don't do that.
You don't really notice like how much of a change it is having a planet, like a seat that you are not moving around in. Like, you don't know it until you're actually driving, and you're like, dude, because your midsection to be sore, your knee to be blown off.
You're all over the place, dude. It's crazy.
You're spending more time trying to hold yourself still in the chair than you are being able to drive the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would just focus on maybe some coilovers to get the car lower and more planted and make things easier that way. Outside of that, you know, obviously you need to
about 1,500
weld the diff or something, or get a good quality diff. You know, if you've got that in the budget, that can really make a big difference. People think, oh, well, welded works just as good. It's not. I don't think that's technically true. That a good diff is actually better than a welded diff, but for the big disparity in price.
Diff. I've never really gotten to try like a fucking phenomenal diff, like a Winners.
That's me. Yeah, I couldn't even tell you what it's like.
Yeah, exactly. I've ridden along in a car that has it, but you don't really feel it.
Yeah, your foot's not going through the pedal, so you're not driving, so you don't know. Yeah.
But, so that's the primary stuff I would probably shoot for. You know, maybe some belts to keep.
Sounds like you got a couple bucks left. You want to get some little things too, some little knickknacks.
Maybe $1,000 left.
Vinyl wear out. No, I'm just kidding. Stickers make you go faster, right? Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit of performance or something like that, you know, to get a little extra power, depending on what you're starting with. Unless you're starting with like a Mustang or something, then you could probably just be fine with the power you have.
Yeah.
Eventually some, angle mods,
maybe
but
some
I
rear
don't
arms
think
or
you
something.
need that for the first event. You need to learn to drive on stock angle, and then your skills will progress better once you've mastered that level, like you said earlier.
Yeah, then go get you that FDF kit.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, all right. Well, that's basically at the
Hey, and then
2,000 mark.
he's got money for food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yay!
lots of snacks.
Good
Yeah, I'd
gas.
say. I mean, realistically, I'd probably say about the same thing. Yeah, getting a good seat. I'd say like that.
That's what most people
get
is their first
get a
thing
good
to
seat,
say.
good set of coilovers. Making sure that, because that's the biggest thing, to weld the diff, coilovers, and a seat, and that'll get you pretty much started. I would say I would probably go one step further, assuming you have mechanical abilities. I'd probably get like a gasket set, so that way I'm not chasing leaks or anything like that. So I'd probably go ahead and
one. Okay. It's about $100 too.
yeah, because I know they got on there that the tune-up kits.
Yeah.
So you can get you some plugs and all that. So that's probably what I'd do, is good oil
Holy
change.
shit, that's something I have not thought
probably like
about.
a gasket set.
I did that. And
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Just that way, that, hey man, I don't have any leaks or anything on track. And because let's be honest, your first track day, you see a leak, you're like, oh man, and then you're chasing it, and then you're getting nervous. So go ahead and knock it out.
And that's going to prevent you from focusing on driving, because you're focusing on mechanics.
Yeah. So that's where I'd be
But
at. Yeah.
I just
Seat,
thought of
coilovers, welded diff. You can probably get your buddy to do that for like $50, $100.
But what else do you need to pass tech? Helmet.
Yep. Yeah.
I would
good
suggest
helmet.
skipping the motorcycle helmet and going straight to the SA rated helmet, and that way you're good
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
for the.
But yeah, as far as
just go on
as that,
And Juku's got literally
they got
like,
everything.
so many race quip helmets for one.
Yeah.
There's so many
Yeah,
options for race
and that's
quip.
a good budget.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because
Yeah.
I totally wouldn't even have thought about getting a good helmet. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get a good race quip for about $200, $250.
Yeah.
I think.
So
is
right
what
there,
it
yeah,
is.
I'd say that probably seat, helmet, coilovers, welded
I would
diff,
throw
and
in
a gasket
grip royal
kit.
steering wheel as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I was almost
I hate
thinking.
factory steering wheels.
Depends if you like driving gloves or not, but that can be a benefit depending on the wheel situation. If you've got a nice suede one like that, you may or may not need it. But
Yeah.
I
they're
enjoy it
sharp.
with the suede, having the gloves, but that's all personal preference stuff.
Yeah,
Anyways,
like, again,
so.
that just goes into your driving style, personal preference.
Yeah.
But as far as the basics go, it's definitely an upgrade. So
Hell yeah. Well,
yeah.
that's simple. If you got the $3,000 and the car,
Yeah, and I feel like
why
I
not?
still have money, a little bit of money left too,
Yeah.
but it's all good, man. It's not that much. You don't really need that much to get out there for your first track day. I mean, you could go out there completely stock car, but having those
Yeah.
items do help you out. And if you have a good source like in Juku to make sure that they always got the products for you, you're good, man.
especially with the fucking variety they have.
Yeah,
Good
variety,
God.
fast shipping, you're good.
Yeah.
You can have it, do it in a weekend. You can think about it Monday and work on it Friday.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, well, let's move on to the next one. So we got your best piece of advice for just anyone getting into drifting.
my biggest thing is don't think that you need a monster of a car to show up on day one to start drifting. Have a car that runs and drives and is reliable. Getting out there, getting seat time is going to make your skills progress far more than having a limitless horsepower. Yeah. So I would say focus more on driving. Now, if you can, build it up and get extra horsepower, that's great. But don't do it at the sacrifice of a car that's down for 6 months and you lose all that time, especially if, the driving season is, somewhat limited in some areas. So.
Yeah.
That's my biggest advice. Don't think you have to have a fully done car to start drifting. Just get that seat time and then progress it as you progress your driving skills.
Smart.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
What
I
you
would
got?
say don't expect to length the course the first time you're out there. A lot of people, will be they get upset. I see a lot of people will lose motivation and kind of lose the feel of driving because they get frustrated because they feel like they should be doing better. It's like,
Yeah, they'll see the freaks of nature that go out there their first event. And
so
get
I
it
guess
the
like
first
that
couple laps.
would be what I would give advice on is, hey man, just have fun with it.
Yeah.
And
Have patience.
you'll know when it's time that you'll find the time when you need to get serious about it. So it's like, have fun with it, learn as much as you can. And, don't beat yourself up so much. Like, don't be like, oh, I suck, or
And
I
don't
can't
take
get the
it too
hang of
serious.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have fun with it and go out there and just play. Like, you don't have to be serious right off the rip. Now, if you want to pursue a career with it, you'll find that time when you need to switch gears, you know?
Yeah, you
So,
just got to take the first step.
have
You
have
won't
fun, yeah.
know. The ideas just start
Mhm.
flowing as you
Just
get into it.
Have fun and don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
You know, there's plenty of people in the community that will take you under their wing and show you the ropes and help you out. So embrace it.
Hell yes. All right. And then this one is a little bit more like deeper. What is your one message if you could speak to the entire world?
Sheesh.
Well, I would say I'll just use it like for what I say in life. It's just, you know, love everybody and have a good time with this thing we call life, man. There's too much bullshit going on to be mad at each other, you know, just unity, have fun, and just kind of like take what we have at the drift track and use that in every aspect of life. You know, just be a good person and, you know, make the best of every situation and try to be there for one another. You know, I have a big heart, so I find a lot of people that I tend to people that are having rough times in their life. I tend to take them under my wing and just be like, "Hey, man, it's all good. Like we all deal with stuff. We all have times that we feel real bad or like we don't feel the greatest about ourselves. But it's like, hey, man, come to the track and just have a blast. And
don't think about the troubles. You know, focus on driving. You know, that's a good.
Yeah. So that's what it is.
Way
Just there's too much shit going on in the world. So just be cool with each other and just have a good time with life, man. We're all on this rock together, dude.
We're in 2024, dog. Vote accordingly.
I
won't go any deeper than that.
Yeah,
But,
I'm sure we could talk for days, but yeah, that's the biggest thing, man. Just love one another.
Try not to think about that stuff too much.
Yeah. It'll get you worked up real quick, man.
Hard not to. All right. Well, what's yours? What you got?
I kind of resonate what he did. You know, we just try to, bring a positive vibe to everything and not sweat the small stuff and just try to have a good time together and come out to the track and have some fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's not that serious, man. Have fun with it, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, cool. All right. Well, if you guys want to plug yourself, plug your people, shout out anyone out, anything like that, that's y'all's tight shot. So if you want to talk directly to the audience, there you go.
All right. Zach here. Pretty much my shout outs, Dawson for having us here. That's super cool. Be on the podcast. Boy Marshall, trusting me with what we do at the track, making sure that everything's good. Shout out to my, my dad and my stepmom, my family, because they always love about the cars. I mean, I wouldn't be a gearhead if it wasn't for my dad. You know, I can't even remember a time that I've never messed with cars or something. Shout out to my chick for dealing with it. Like I mentioned earlier, just taking the time to, be very patient with what we do. Shout out to the team, Darren, Anthony, we got Tony, Steven. Shout out to Rockingham Speedway, Rockingham Tourism, everybody that kind of, the Rockingham, they love us and we love them back. Ronnie and Ashley, all of our sponsors, Dustin, Brian running the track. And the biggest shout out is thank you to all our supporters and fans. Those of you that have been with us over the years, you guys know that there's a lot of stuff been going on and you stick with it. So kudos to you. And we couldn't do it without the drivers and the fans. So I guess realistically, that's the biggest shout out is the drivers, the fans, and the sponsors, because you're the people that make it happen.
Yeah. And if you haven't been to an MB Drift event, come on out, check it out. We have a lot of fun, so much seat time. Even as a spectator, there's a lot of interaction and fun things to do. We have food trucks at every event and stuff. And so, free ride-alongs is always good and that kind of stuff. We have a merch tent set up, that kind of stuff. If you want to get some hoodies or a shirt or a hat or something like that. So
sweet.
Shout out to my job for letting me get off work. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Was that all?
Do you want to give him hat and merch and stuff?
Oh, yeah. Shit. And this is stuff that you sell at the tent.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So this is a gift
y'all
pack.
Can look at it too.
Gift pack. We appreciate you having us out here and helping us spread the word about MB Drift. And so this is some merch from MB Drift merch tent, and we appreciate you supporting us and helping us get the word out. So here's the hats, a couple of stickers, koozies, all that.
Got that. Got a patch and all that stuff. And with our merch, we always
That looked like a sticker at first.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We always have our merch at all of our events, and then we also do it on the website as well, mbdrift.com. Got some merch. That's something we're trying this year. Kind of that. We got a lot of shirts and stuff on there. We're about to gear up on a new merch update, so we're possibly doing maybe some rebranding and stuff like that. So we're gonna have a little bit new look, some new designs and stuff like that. So keep an eye out for that. Yeah, it's pretty rad, man. We try merch is weird, man, because like merch, it's like it's a hot thing or it's not a hot thing. I'm sure you know with your merch, you know, it's like it's hit or
merch
miss.
Merch is realistically just there for your hardcore viewers if they want to grab one, support.
Yeah,
but I try not to put a bunch of focus into the merch.
Yeah, merch
I don't design it anymore. I don't do any of that.
Yeah, so we got that like pretty much the chicks take care of the merch. So you know, if you have anything that you know, you're looking for specific, I'm sure we can, you know, we may have it, we may not have it, but we're always, you know, we take ideas and stuff like that. Open to ideas. We're pretty flexible.
And if you want to just support, it's better.
Yeah.
Just donating.
Yeah.
You know?
And then too, for the sponsors, you know, we always do a season shirt with all the sponsors on the back. We do all of our banners with sponsors and everything on them too. So there's a lot of exposure, as mentioned, commercials through the live stream, stuff of that nature.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, so I mentioned actually at the beginning of the podcast that we had a special surprise that you guys had.
Yeah.
So go ahead and explain what the surprise is, and then I'll tell them how they can enter.
Yeah. All right. So, you know, we again appreciate you having us on and all, and so we're pretty excited about this and want to help get more people out to the track. So we decided to give away 3 driver spots to one of our events in for a little contest through your platform.
Hell yeah.
So that's going to be, you know, we'll have
as if they aren't helping you guys out enough.
Yeah. So, you know, we have 3 Matsuris throughout the year. We used to have 2. We have expanded it to 3 now. So we have our spring Matsuri. Then we're going to new one is a summer Matsuri. Yeah. And then we have our fall Matsuri, which is called Halloween Havoc. That one is always
biggest blowout.
Matsuris are like the party events.
Yeah. So the Halloween one is always.
So we want to give away 1 spot for each one of those different fun events. You know, outside of the competitions, you know, we want to invite someone out to do.
So in all those, that's 2 tracks, 2 days, running both days, multiple layouts and stuff like that. So you definitely get a lot of seat time, and then, you know, come get the experience what it's all about.
And we got a pretty good rock band coming for Spring Matsuri too.
Yep. Yeah, we always try to have music and stuff at the Matsuris, a little bit costume contests and stuff like that. So make it more of like a fun time. You know, even if you have the kids, you can bring the kids.
Yeah.
All that stuff. So it's pretty rad. So
we're going to
give away 3 driver spots for those for each one, so be cool. It's
you fun can win the thing. Second event for free too.
Yeah.
That's sick.
It's like I hope the same person don't win all 3 of them, but either way it's all good, man.
It's rigged.
Yeah. So
hell yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we'll do it in a sense of we'll just run it for a week until the next podcast is posted.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah, you can do that. Run it. Yeah, run it for a week, and you know, you can use. You have like a catchphrase that we could use, you know, it could be like, just put like,
in the comments, literally all you'll have to do is comment. So you don't have to buy nothing. You don't have to do anything extra. Just comment. And you want to do, I drive MB Drift.
Yeah, you can do that. Or MB Drift Matsuri or
any type of comment that says MB Drift in it.
Just include MB Drift, you know,
there you go.
You can just put at MB Drift. That's fine too, you know, and then
I've never driven MB Drift.
Yeah, so we'll do that, and that'll be pretty rad, and you know, and give some people the opportunity to get a free seat time. Maybe
for free.
Maybe you've been building your car, and this will be a perfect opportunity to shake it down. You ain't got nothing in it.
Or if you're coming like from a little bit further distance like this,
save you some money.
Maybe this would be the thing that would help push you over the edge to help you get to the event.
A little bit of an offset.
Hell yeah. Help convince yourself.
Yeah. Come on out and have a good time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys doing that for them. Yeah. And go ahead, just drop a comment, enter into that. Especially if you're in that area. Why not? But all right, well, cool. I guess that's all we really got for this episode. So look well the video. Make sure that subscribe button is not still red, and hit the bell notification while you're at it too. And if you haven't already, grab my merch as well on 144 Racing. And I think I should have another design coming out soon myself. And a lot of the parts, like I said, we did mention it can be found on Injuku Racing. So links to everything you guys will need are in the description. Again, I really appreciate you guys coming on.
No, likewise, man. This is awesome. You know?
Yeah, thank you. Check out MB Drift on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram too.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be in the description too. So
Sweet.
I'll make sure y'all are covered.
I appreciate that.
Hell yeah. Well, that's all we got for this one. So we will see you each and every Sunday for a new episode. Thanks.
Stacking way up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay to Ibiza. Hit home runs, I'm a ball like Jeter. I just want fuck, then I leave her. I'm a young pop star, call the boy Justin Bieber. Got a little money if you want, I can teach her. Whole life a movie, you can watch.